1, 2, 3, 4.
So
That's pretty fucking funny, actually.
out to the Shepherds.
Shout out to Shep. How's his race schedule?
Were we recording for that little story?
No, we weren't.
I told him about how you guys ran the Civic down to Wildwood and back with no oil in it and it didn't fucking blow up. It's a testament to Honda's reliability.
Dude, Hondas are, they say Toyotas in the million-mile vehicles,
Yeah.
but, like, I mean, Hondas are durable, man.
Yeah, I'm a big Toyota guy myself, but I fuck with Hondas too. I think just Japanese stuff in general is pretty good.
Very
pretty good.
Very honorable.
If it's not a good car, they stab themselves in the stomach and they call it committing Harry Callus.
Yeah,
It's in his stomach. He's out of here.
he's out of here. Joe Scrocker commits Sudoku. And the Phillies are the National League champions.
Harry Carey.
Yeah, there is
My
a
grandpa used to talk about that a lot.
what the Japanese art of
He would like imitate it all the time.
that is a very like archaic way of saying that too, which I like. I think that's like a real old timer. Yeah, like, but there's also
Vernacular.
like, well, yeah, there's like a sports commentator for I think the Chicago Cubs that used to be named Harry Carey as well, and one of the infamous riots or whatever. I think we've talked about it on here where it was like one of those like sports like debacles. Someone was trying to do some kind of promotion for getting like fans to the stadium. And yeah, Harry Carey was like tasked with the guy of like calming the crowd down after like I think it was like 10-cent beer night or like disco night or whatever, where they like blew up all the disco albums, like whatever one it was. Harry Carey was tasked with trying to quell the masses between the two ball games. So he's like, "Come on, folks, let's sing 'Take Me Out to the Ball Game,' and like shit's on fire in the stands. And people are getting
Just
arrested.
raining beer cans.
Yeah, people are getting beaten by cops, like riot police. And he's like, "Take me out to the ball." And like nobody cared, and the game got canceled. He had to commit Harry Carey, business.
It's the only
as usual.
honorable decision to make
Do you
in
think-
that scenario.
Do you think that it is more honorable to kill yourself if you like fuck up real bad in like, because I know Harry Carey is like a social thing, but more of like it was like a military honor thing. Like, do you?
I thought it was during the war versus like in when you're tasked with the decision of being captured alive or just kill yourself. I guess just kill yourself. I don't know. Isn't that why they would do it, or was it because they fucked up?
Well, it was like I think Sabuku is like the art of like killing yourself, where it's like you do it
Suicide Forest or whatever out there.
Well, no, there's like a way you're supposed to stab yourself in the stomach.
So draw a
it's
question mark or
yeah,
make
it's
sure you
like
get the spleen.
in, left, up, or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's like a whole thing. They have like
It's a brutal way to do it.
It's not a fun one. I mean, it's like the most pain. But, like, apparently, it's quick. That's the only thing, which it's like seems very easy to fuck up.
Just choking on your own blood. Like, no thanks, dude.
Removing organs from your
I'd
own
much
body.
rather fucking Kurt Cobain the ceiling than fucking like.
You see
that
that?
seems quick.
Did you see that fucking short that was like the autistic guy explaining that the shotgun Kurt Cobain used was too long to actually blow his own head off? Like in theory, I don't.
I didn't see that specific one, but in like middle school when I was playing guitar, I was taking guitar lessons. I was big into rock music, and I went down the Nirvana rabbit hole where I had my Walmart Nirvana t-shirts and whatnot, and I was on this MySpace page. It was like Justice for Kurt, and it was like this whole rabbit hole of like how Courtney Love conspired to have him murdered.
She did.
I don't remember the details and such, but
Well, there's one prevailing theory that she hired a guy from this band called Mentors, I think, or Teachers or something. Yeah, Mentors.
he's like the fat bald dude or something.
Yeah, his name's Il Duce. And fun fact,
Awesome name.
Yeah, fun fact about Il Duce, he had a recording of him talking to Courtney Love on the phone, or there was a record. I forget who recorded who, but someone recorded them having a phone conversation where Courtney Love explicitly asked him to kill Kurt Cobain, and he like was like, "All right, whatever." And like then, a couple weeks after Cobain died, or excuse me, a couple years after Cobain died, they were like looking into it, and Duce just mysteriously got hit by a train, and yeah, the rumor is that Courtney Love had someone take him out, but then
For what reason? I don't remember the specifics of why. Was he beating her? Was he not a good dad? Why did she want to whack the cash cow?
Courtney Love is a fucking cunt, And, yeah, she was in a band called Hole that wasn't particularly good.
Hole?
Hole, yes.
That's
she
a very
was one.
apropos name.
She is a hole. And she was a massive drug addict too. And I've heard
They both were.
Well, I've heard firsthand accounts that she actually might have fueled a little bit more of his heroin addiction than is let on. Like, because it was at certain points self-inflicted, but like, there were people around Kurt Cobain that apparently were trying to keep him sober and keep him working on shit. And Courtney Love was like that fucking tumor that
Spike up.
basically, yeah. And yeah, I think she just thought it would be like more of a like a status thing on her part, or she'd get some kind of like commercial or success, whatever, from his death. Yeah.
How'd that work out?
Everybody knows who he is, and Hole still sucks. And I know for a fact
Anytime she's brought up, it's with
about Kurt Cobain.
she had Kurt Cobain killed. Wasn't she like an actress or something at one point as well, or no? Am I
she
misremembering?
like modeled, but
She
like
was
she's
like a Hollywood personality. I remember
Not even
her
Hollywood.
at some red carpet event where she was like hammered.
yeah.
It was
That's
a big blunder in her career.
I don't think it was like. It might have been like a music thing. I'm fairly certain she didn't like act, or if she did act, it was very limited. But yeah, she was like just a mess, and everybody kind of liked that Amy Winehouse aesthetic, kind of where it's like
Heroin chic.
yeah. And
That was in.
Yeah, she got fat.
Yeah, I wonder what she looks like now.
Still horrible. I mean, Frances Bean, Cobain's daughter, like kind of looks like him, but she also is dating or married to a guy that looks exactly like Kurt Cobain, which is even fucking weird.
Wild daddy issues.
Yeah, that's
rightfully so. I mean, your dad dies when you're a baby. That's pretty.
Yeah,
a
under
rough
mysterious circumstances. It's like, yeah, you're trying to fill some kind of void there. I don't
Yeah.
know why I'm just like going off on them. I've never been a fan of Nirvana, to be completely honest, and I always kind of thought that they were like that bridge between like where corporate rock is like trying to hide that it's corporate rock, because that's what it was. It's like they were all on MTV Unplugged, and like all their songs are about like how monumentally famous they are and like how much of a burden it is. And I'm like, yo, like you guys could just be like every other grunge band to be like nobodies, but you guys chose to sell out, and now it's like, woe is me. I got
I'm rich.
I got fucking money. We talked about this last week too, but like, I don't know. It's one that I don't really agree with. I
hate the mo money mo problems narrative across all genres, where it's like, go fuck yourself. There's people out here working at fucking McDonald's for $11 an hour, and you're like, my life's hard. I cleared $3 million last year singing songs.
I really hate how I have to go to the studio 4 days a week because I was supposed to go do cryotherapy.
Yeah,
fuck
like
off.
fucking grow up. Like
I get the fame thing not being great, but it's like, well, you could just
Not
not
be famous.
pursue fame
Yeah.
if you didn't. Like, I feel like a lot of it's people who wanted fame and then they realize how much it sucks to like not be able to go to fucking CVS without 10 people. The Gay SMR podcast. But yeah, fame wouldn't. I don't like going to ShopRite, and I'm not famous, but I can't imagine everywhere you go where like crowds of people are forming around you. That would suck, and that's why
You made that
pursue a podcast
Yeah.
and not fame.
you made that analogy last week too, and I like was like editing it yesterday and like had to re-listen and whatnot, and I kind of like have to. You really think like famous like Taylor Swift is going to CVS?
No, they have to send people
Yeah,
there
that's-
too. But I'm saying,
Yeah, like, that's
there's
why.
got to be a time where like you wake up early on a Sunday and you're like, I just want to go to a diner and get a cup of coffee and a fucking omelet, and like you have to either have 8 security guards with you or like have to get takeout. Like they all order like DoorDash or delivery or whatever. I'm sure like there's. On the Reddit of the different gig apps, DoorDash and Instacart, there was stories from people who are working in LA, like, oh, I delivered to Brad Pitt's house and he tipped me $100.
No way, really?
Yeah, there was cool stories, but they didn't get to meet the persons. Like, you just deliver to their fucking security guy at the gate. But
I heard Lil Wayne used to get pizzas delivered, and he would get like because he would have like he would have like a massive skate park in his backyard and like a party going on and whatnot. So he would need like 100 pizzas, and he would just like wait until they got a white fucking delivery driver, and then just like bring him in and fuck with them like as hard as they could. Apparently,
crack a motherfucker.
no, he like doesn't like white people from what I've been told.
He's like a
And-
Denzel.
yeah, he doesn't like like they would like specifically like this was on 4chan, so you can take it with a heavy grain of salt. But yeah, the guy was like, I used to deliver pizzas in New Orleans, and Lil Wayne's got a house there, and like he's from there, I guess.
Yeah, he is.
But he's like he's got like his mansion, and then he's got like a house, and like the house is where he like parties and whatnot, because he like just like it's off the beaten path, kind of hard to find. If you didn't know that it was Lil Wayne lived there, you probably would be completely unassuming, because it's
It's like a big party house?
yeah,
Or
it's just like he's got like a skate park there. It's like they have like a little venue in the back, so like he can do like private, like intimate shows and whatnot. But yeah, he said that like normally he would deliver pizzas in this neighborhood where it's like an upscale neighborhood, and there would be like one house where it was like, no, never taking pizzas there because it was Lil Wayne. And he was a white guy, and was like Lil Wayne would wait until they got a white delivery driver, bring him inside, get him like way too fucking
Naked.
high, fucking take their shirt, like rip their shirt off, put like the fucking chains on him, like push him in the pool and stuff like that. Like really just
swimming pool filled with codeine.
yeah, just like fuck with them. And then like at a certain point, it's like, yeah, they're probably like, being like, like, we're gonna give this kid the fucking night of his life or whatever.
Couple $100 tip or
Yeah,
something.
but no, he's like, no, it was like, no matter how much it was always like them just trying to demean me. And like use me because I'm white and they could like I'm a party toy.
He was like a prop. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would do it.
Yeah, same.
I would get used by Lil Wayne, both sexually and monetarily.
I would call him a gremlin to his face because he
Yeah.
looks like one.
Customer's always right, Joe. You can't call your customers gremlins.
Well, it's funny you say that. Funny you say that, Jacob. We had to reissue a $158 refund this week to someone who told me to my face that I don't know how to fucking cook and my cooking is bullshit.
Why'd you have to? You didn't have to. Make them charge back.
Well,
fuck them.
so-
Call Pakistan and deal with fucking visa support, you cunt.
So, this guy orders from us normally like once. He gets bait from our fresh market. Like he buys soft shell crabs to use as bait on his fishing boat, and he comes in. He ordered like a couple of things. Off the bat, asked for something completely unreasonable, which I don't know. You eat food. Does this sound reasonable to you? You know what a crab cake is?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a blackened crab cake?
When me and my mom would make them, one of them might stay on the fucking stove a little too long and be like slightly black, but never purposefully.
No, like
they're usually like
not overcooked. I'm talking like with blackening seasoning, and you deliberately pan blacken of like you put it.
I didn't know there was seasoning for blackening.
Yeah, there's blackening seasoning. We
No
use
shit.
Yeah,
I just thought it was slightly burnt. Like when you get blackened chicken, I thought they just burnt it a little.
they use this stuff. It's like a lot of like heavy spices, so that you're covering how like much carbon you're putting on it. But it does. It changes the flavor profile of everything. It kind of like locks in this like the way that you get like smoked brisket, like how you get like the smoke ring or whatever. It's kind of a similar process to that, but like you're doing it quicker, not as like
No shit.
slow over time. But yeah. Never blacken a crab cake. It's impossible to do because
They're
just,
usually soft and like, golden, pretty standard across the board everywhere you go.
well, when you're blackening something, you're blackening the meat, and it's like in crab cake, there's like bread and filler and stuff
yeah, it's
like that.
crab stuffing pie. Like,
Yeah.
it's just this little patty.
It's like blackening a chicken pot pie is the analogy that I made. Yeah, it's like you don't do that. Nobody blacken. You can overcook a chicken pot pie, but there's no such thing as a blackened chicken pot pie. So. A guy calls up, wants one of those. We say no. So we're like, all right, already this guy's going to be a fucking cunt because, we didn't agree with him. He orders at 8:15. At 8:45, we get a phone call, and he's literally cussing out our 16-year-old counter girl about how we don't know what we're fucking doing and his food is fucking inedible. And, like, in those words, too. And, so he comes in because we usually say we'll issue a refund for the items that you're disappointed in, but you have to bring them in so we can see them to, like, gauge what's
Verify
wrong.
what the fuck happened.
Yeah. So he said that the crab cakes were not cooked at all. They were fucking hot, like, and delicious too. We ate them later, and that his
You
soft
ate the ones he brought back.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to while he was up there because he was yelling and pointing at the counter.
No, he's pretty good.
He was yelling and pointing at the counter people. And I wanted to walk up and like say like these are the crab cakes. I wanted to grab it real hard and like and then be like, tastes fine to me, dipshit. And just but no, we had to like call the cops and everything. This guy,
Really?
Yeah, this guy was being completely unreasonable. He was cussing out a 16-year-old kid.
Was he drunk?
Yeah,
Sounds like a drunk
and his
rich guy move.
And his kid was like telling me, it was like, well, the first thing he says too is that like I walk up and he's like, oh yeah, you think you're so fucking cool.
I do.
You don't know.
sir.
You don't know anything about how to fucking cook. If I was you, I would fucking quit because I don't know a fucking thing about cooking. You clearly don't know what you're fucking doing. I was like, well, thank you, sir. Normally people write that on Yelp. They don't have the balls to come in and say it to my face. I'm gonna fucking. I'm going on Yelp anyway. I'm gonna write a Yelp review too. Blah 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 blah. And then like all that. So then his son.
What was his issue? Why was he so upset?
He
what
paid
was the gripe?
$150 and we wouldn't let him get his way. So he needed to throw a temper tantrum because we didn't let him because he didn't get a blackened crab cake.
But all the other food was fine.
All the other food was fine. He just complained about it. Well, so he ordered 4 things, brought 2 of them back, and said the whole meal was inedible. And we're like, sir, where's the other 2 meals?
They
And he's
were
like,
clearly eaten by your fucking relatives.
yes, exactly. So he didn't have an answer for that. We just figured it was work because he's yelling so much. We're like, yeah, I know this is a tactic, but it's just more easy to fucking like just
Refund
give
them
them,
and
just
get
give
the
them.
fuck out of my
Yeah,
store.
and like the cops are already there. It was luckily the cops showed up as one of the waitress's boyfriends, so like everything ended up working out. But I did get one of the best ones I think I've gotten ever. The guy had his son with him, and I guess the son thought he was going to be the enforcer or something. But he was like roughly my age, like roughly my size, and I made a comment at one point. I'm like, you know what? Like I understand everybody overpays for vacation. It's understandable, and the guy like fucking spazzed. He's like, we're locals. I was like, no, you're not. Where'd you go to school? And the guy was like, well, I went to school at Lehigh Valley. And I just kind of go like, really, dude? And he's like, that's not the fucking
We
point.
own property.
We've been here for 50 years. I was like, yeah, I'm sure, whatever, buddy. But like, when push comes to shove, this ain't how you treat people that are your neighbors, like that, blah blah blah. So, well, that's all
Sounds
going
like a
down.
whole lot of entitlement. To
Yes.
me.
So I scratched my nuts real hard, and then was like, you know what, dude, I'm sorry. Here, like, let's just call it even. You got your money back. You get out of here. And I shook his hand with my nut scratch hand. Felt pretty good.
I don't know if that's like I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting when you're like, I got one of the best ones ever, but
I don't know. How often do you scratch your nuts and then shake somebody's hand?
never. That's disgusting.
Exactly.
Sounds like, I don't know. That's a piece of shit move.
It is a piece of shit move. You know what else is a piece of shit move? Telling a 16-year-old girl she's a fucking idiot and pointing in her
Fuck
face.
her. She probably is an idiot.
She is. But I'm allowed to call them that. Those are my problems.
I'm on this guy's side now.
No, he was the guy I had you Facebook
He
stalk
seemed
the other
cool.
day.
I looked him up.
Yeah, he
I
did.
messaged him. I was like, damn, you're a bro, dude. Fuck that.
Yeah,
place.
Oceanside seafood sucks. You
Yeah.
want to go hang out on your boat?
Let's go to Ruth Chris, dude. Fuck those peasants.
Ruth Chris is like fucking delicious, but that place is overpriced as fuck. You can just
That's
get
the point.
I don't understand that. I get like going to like Morton's and whatnot. Ruth Chris is like same with Morton's, but it's like
I've never been, by the way.
it's just fucking. You get stuff you can buy at the supermarket, but it looks fancy, and that's about it.
That's all
Like,
those places. We went to the one in Atlantic City. It's like Cafe 1528 or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the right number.
it's cafe and number. I know what you're talking about.
28, some shit like that. Like it was really good. Don't get me wrong. Tina took me there for like my birthday or something like that. We dressed up. I wore a suit. Blah blah blah. Like it was good. It's just not my speed. Like it's just I felt so out of place. Like I felt like imposter syndrome. Like I was just like I'm wearing my Boscov suit and like there's rich dudes in like tracksuits who are like clearly millionaires and like we're here in my fucking Camry or my Corolla. Like what the I don't know how to like talk to people like that. Like I'm not that of that ilk. Like I'd rather just go to fucking Olive Garden and like, you know what I mean? Like
I'm the opposite. Like where it's like I normally am on the other side of the kitchen. I don't get to enjoy that kind of cuisine. That's not peasant cuisine. I normally am cooking the peasant cuisine. I'm normally cooking the cuisine as a peasant. Like I don't get to have fucking filet mignon Oscar style. Like that's not my speed. And
they made like pasta like at the table, like homemade
with the
pasta.
cheese and whatnot. Yeah, like,
And I
that's,
was like, this is nuts.
yeah. I'm not. This is way out of my pay grade.
Yeah, I was just like, this is awkward. Can you make it in the back?
Can you like turn around and do that, sir?
And then I mean, I know they do this at all kinds of restaurants where the manager will walk around. Like they do it at like fucking Dino's.
Like the
and shit.
maitre d' or whatever.
How's everything tonight? But like
Yeah.
this, it was like the owner, like the chef came out, like because they make everyone's meal at the same time. It's this weird like routine where it's not like you just walk in and like sit down and order. It's like you have to have a reservation. Like
and there's a
only-
seating, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a weird fucking. So
They bring a cart around with like cheeses and fucking.
I don't like
charcuterie.
fancy restaurants. It's not like, oh, I don't want to spend this much money. Like I'll go spend $200 on a meal or whatever. Like it's not the price that's the deterrent for me. It's just the
Atmosphere.
the ambiance, the
Yeah.
atmosphere. I was gonna say like it's just the crowd. I feel out of place. Like I don't know. And like Tina's all about that shit. Like Tina worked in Avalon. She got the Beamer to keep up with the Joneses. Like she likes extravagant.
Well,
shit
she is a
like
woman
that.
too.
Yeah,
like they are.
and like
more,
her and her
yeah.
ex used to like he was I don't know if he was a cook or if he was just like a food dork, but like they used to go to like they would make trips to go to like fancy restaurants. Like that was like their thing. So she went from eating at like Stephen Cookie's, Ruth Chris, Morton's, and then I'm like, hey, 2 for $20, Applebee's, like quesadilla burger, let's go. Like I'm not a
Tacos
fancy.
LTO.
To me, like a fancy restaurant is like the Tilton Inn or like Ventura's or something. Like just a bar and tavern. Like go to Anchorage, that's like fucking
High society.
Yeah, like that's like we're going to a restaurant, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always found it to be a little bit Yeah, like New Orleans has a lot of these like old school places that are like, teak wood panel fucking dining rooms. And I talked about it on the last episode, that fucking Spanish influence place that I took my girlfriend to and ordered for her. That was like $60 a plate probably for everything, which isn't like astronomically expensive, but it is higher end. Like it's more than Dino's. Like, I mean, maybe not now, but like, it's still like.
Don't get me started.
No, well,
it's $20 a plate for a diner.
Yeah, so like.
It's ridiculous.
Like we like would always like go out, but she would be like this is too lavish for me, or like this is too expensive for me, and I'm like, it's really not. It's just like the normal ingredients you're getting are just a little bit better and prepared. But then like there is this like step up where like you can really go and see like what the like gastro pub kind of shit where you're like,
Nobu.
This is like they're doing science in the back, and like that's like realistically it's like everything is like treated like sterile, like they're in a fucking like a laboratory almost, and like that shit is like, yeah, I got no business being there. I don't want like a fucking
I can't appreciate
like I don't want a dessert that like the guy brings in like a molten cauldron and then has like a thing of liquid nitrogen and pours like it into a pan, and then the pan, it evaporates the liquid nitrogen but freezes, and then they pour this like boiling like coffee into it, and then it rapid freezes, and then they bring a hammer out and crack it for
I'm
you.
cool with literally like some peanut butter pie or
a chocolate chip cookie that grandma made that afternoon.
Not even famous Amos.
Heinous anus.
Give me some fucking the literal brand grandma's cookies or whatever at
Yeah.
Wawa. Like I don't need anything fancy. Bring
She
me
went
2
from
Oreos and a fucking small glass of milk.
She went to Steven cookies, and now she's Steven with cookies. I don't know. Fucking boo. I don't know.
I don't like any of that liquid nitrogen nonsense. Like
What, like that lab shit?
like
When
when
they're trying to.
you always see it in AC, that one restaurant at Hard Rock. It's called like It's Sugar or like Sugar
That
Experience
place
or something.
fucking sucks.
That's super expensive. People love it. They go bananas over it. Like once a week, you see someone on Facebook posting like, "Oh, we took the kids to the diabetes factory for fucking their birthday, and they drank." It's just
There's two.
I'm not even like a super keto dork anymore. Like I'll eat some sugar if it comes down to it, but like I don't want to go to a place where the entire meal is like
sugar.
Let's eat just a
let's
bowl
eat
of sugar.
fucking waffles with like a fucking strip of bacon that we've dipped in dark chocolate because it's healthy. We're gonna cover it with maraschino cherries and wet walnuts, and
What
then
cherries?
maraschino.
You're like Maraschino.
Maraschino. How do you say it?
Isn't it maraschino?
I don't know.
I don't know. Comment below.
Someone spell it out for one of our. One of us is wrong.
The way you said it was definitely wrong. but
Maraschino.
I think it's just
Maraschino?
I'm doubting myself.
I have no fucking. I'm not even
thought
kidding.
it was maraschino.
Maraschino. I really don't know. I know that grenadine.
Shirley Temple's grenadine. Yeah.
Grenadine. That's about as fancy as I get. It's like, whoa. Got a fucking big spender over here getting a Shirley Temple.
Get a virgin Shirley Temple.
Nothing wrong with a virgin Shirley. I used to get that when we go to Bracas when I was a little kid. That was
Dude.
That was my
parents
fucking
are at
shit.
the bar and you're like, I'm gonna get a fucking.
I'm gonna get a fucking
Shirley Temple, dude.
Well-
Take the edge off. Or
Yeah.
I was a big. I was a little fag. I liked virgin strawberry daiquiris and virgin pina coladas.
I like a virgin pina colada too. Like that was.
As a 7 or an 8-year-old, I was like, I'm a king.
I'm drinking. I'm like an adult right now.
This is a tropical treat. Like this
You-
tastes like the beach.
Do you like beverages back when you were in your drinking days that it's like there's a lot of like pomp and circumstance to them, or
No.
do you? Yeah, I like a straightforward beverage. I don't like a fucking Bloody Mary that's got a crab leg
I
and
was
bacon
broke,
in it.
so I was broke when I was going to the bar. So like anything, I typically wasn't. The only thing I was typically getting at bars was like whatever beer was on sale, and then like I would just have a pocket full of like
Quarters.
like Evan Williams.
Oh, the airplane shots. Yeah.
It was Fireball in the beginning, but then I veered away. Everyone who hasn't had a pocket full of Fireball shots at the bar, but you get the 10 sleeve or whatever.
Yeah.
Call them fire chickens. But that stuff's a fucking headache in a bottle. So
all
I veered
high
away from the
fructose corn
flavored
syrup.
shit, and I just the cheapest one they had at Camp Park was these Evan Williams. They tasted like death. But
Yeah.
I would drink those, but I was pretty much just getting like the $3 or the $5 Miller Lite on tap, whatever was on sale, and I was just milking it for as long as I could. Or we would bring a case of Budweiser to the bar. But
Lavari's 250 PBRs, man.
I don't have much experience with That was the best, by the way.
It was.
Would
That was-
light up.
That was
some
that was the
PBRs
fun.
before.
That was the tits. That was honestly
Go
the
there
tits.
with like $30 and just be fucking drinking all night.
It fucking
like,
wasted.
close down the bar. Then they would have the taco night where it was like $1 a taco. Just
Yeah.
Throw them a 10, eat their shitty taco buffet, have diarrhea before you even leave.
Yeah,
Good times.
PBR farts and fucking taco beef farts like the entire fucking rest of the week.
But I don't have much experience with like fancy mixed drink. I wasn't spending $15 on a mixed drink at that point in my like I couldn't afford to.
Yeah.
One, and like the most experience I have I think is like the shots. Like there was like purple Gatorade, green tea, like they were good. Then there was this drink called the Trash Can where it was just a bunch of different shit and then like a Red Bull and
Yeah.
like, that was all right, but it just gave me a wicked headache. Like,
Do you want to hear a fun little shout out story? Because we can tie it. We can keep pivoting off this. But you remember when we recorded the Neil episode over at the power plant implosion?
RIP?
So, yeah, R.I.P. Neil, R.I.P. power plant. There's
It's a metaphor.
there was a wedding I went to where the groom's mom was at the implosion, and I was talking to her before we started rolling, and we were talking about how like the wedding, the signature beverage for the groom was the trash can, and how everybody like without hesitation was just plowing through trash cans like we were drinking like the apocalypse, and you could tell who was with the groom's party and who wasn't because everybody had blue mouths because they used blue curacao in it.
Yeah.
And, so me and the groom's mom were talking before we started rolling, and it was like, yeah, my tongue was blue for seriously like 5 days after that. She's like, I felt like I had a heart attack. What's in one of those? I was like, well, it's like Red Bull and like a bunch of liquor. And she's like, there's Red Bull in that? I had like 5 of them. And I'm like, yeah.
I had heart palpitations all night.
A lot of people reported that. Like they were just drinking them because it was like there was this. They
Especially
named.
like the wine moms who
Oh,
are like
yeah.
they don't drink Red Bull.
They have no idea what hard liquor
a
is.
cup of fucking coffee in the morning and that's it. Like, I mean, I don't drink energy drinks anymore. I'd be fucking heart racing.
Can't anymore. I have my cup of coffee. My coffee then conquered.
It used to happen to me. A delicious treat at the casino, and it's not real Hennessy, but
Hennessy and energy or whatever.
yeah, energy and cognac. It was what the option was on the slot machine, but it wasn't Hennessy. It was like well cognac and like a splash of Red Bull. But that shit tasted like apple juice when you were a kid. Like that shit was nectar of the fucking gods. But I would ball on a budget. That I was broke in my fucking drinking days. And I would, dollar in the slot machine, wait a fucking 45 minutes for the drink, just sit there and hack darts. They
Yep.
bring you a drink this fucking big. You could have just
Chugged it.
could have just spent the fucking money at the bar. But I would drink like 10 of those in a night, and I would go home, and my heart would just be fucking pounding when I was laying in bed. And I'm already kind of hungover because it's like 3 or 4 in the morning, and like couldn't sleep for shit. Other party favors do that to you as well.
We've all had a night where we're vibrating ourselves awake. It's understandable.
The birds are chirping. You're like, I am so fucked.
I hate myself. Why is every decision I've made in my life culminated in this point, and I just feel like I'm a fucking
Trying to
asshole.
rub one out with a softie.
Sweaty. Like, you got no saliva either. It's like you're trying to. Oh fuck! It's like blowing a balloon on your palm.
I'm gonna go smoke another cigarette.
Yeah, in bed and try and fap at the same time. Yeah,
So,
good times.
what's on the docket this week, Joe? I feel like we're just
just
going
riffing,
all over the
just
place.
riffing
Just
right
riffing.
now. I don't know, man. I got nothing. I literally got
handful of
nothing.
notes. It's the
Well-
odd time where you come with nothing and I have a.
Yeah. I mean, you know
an essay
what
about
I'm chomping at the bit to talk about. My man's placing fucking P5, but like, we don't have to dive into that right now. I don't like how everybody was bumping old Rick. That's fucking
Yeah,
irritating.
they were giving him one, but
You guys-
Rick's been known to bump a few people.
Hey,
himself.
listen. I know that he punched fucking Bell, or not Bell. Who was it? He punched
Busch.
fucking Kyle Busch in the fucking mouth because he bumped him into a turn. And I'm like, that doesn't seem like the guy that you want to be like just bumping on.
Well, I think
Like,
now he is probably the guy because he's on not probation, but
he's got a
kind of
he's verboten.
not verboten. I don't know how to say it, but like he's the one who they're gonna have their eye on. So it's like you could probably get away with one with him. 'Cause
He's
probably
the
gonna be a little
enforcer
less. No, he's gonna be a little less likely to come throw a punch because he's already in
Oh,
all that mess. You know what I mean? He's
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you
Yeah.
meant like it's like where in like hockey, it's like you get a reputation as the enforcer. So usually the
people don't want to mess with you.
people don't, like not only don't want to mess with you, but
No.
like the refs kind of judge you a little harsher.
I don't think this has any of the reason like he hit him because he knew that he wasn't going to punch him after the race. It wasn't like that, but I'm just saying like he'd probably be a little more hesitant to go over and slug someone right now, just because there's all eyes on him. He's the last one to do it. He got the biggest fine ever in NASCAR history, so I'm sure he doesn't want to pay another $75,000 fucking check.
Rick, if you put a Blacktooth sticker on the side of your car, I swear to God, we'll fucking pay every fine you have. Like, just
No.
please let us be part of your
We
team.
will not. Maybe Joe will.
Kidnap some children from Indonesia, traffic narcotics like fucking Truex's
What?
family. I'm just saying, like, whatever fine they're gonna give them. I don't know why they're applauding either.
No, I'm not going to spend $75,000 for a Blacktooth sticker on the car that won't even be on TV most races.
That's fuck. Let's talk. Let's talk Fox real quick because I got one, and we could talk about NASCAR.
Well, this week was NBC.
No, I got a Fox complaint that.
To start off, Martin Truex Jr. announced he's retiring at the end of the season this week. That sucks. I was pretty bummed. I'm not going to say I've been following. He's been racing for 21 years. I probably watched 5 of them, counting the last 2. Like, he came in like 04 or something like that. I'd been watching for probably a few years then, and then I fell out of the sport around 08. So I didn't watch when he won his championship in 2017. I don't have like a huge dog in the fight, but he is the only guy from Jersey. So it's like I've always rooted for the guy. He's always been, at the top of my list, and it just sucks. He's from that era of like NASCAR's peak, and it's like those guys are slowly retiring off one by one. I think the only 2 left really are Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, and they're both 43, 44. Like, they're both getting there.
What's like the oldest NASCAR person? Like NASCAR?
Mark Martin raced successfully into his early 50s, winning races. But he's kind of the anomaly, not the rule. Most guys start to peter off in their early 40s.
So there's like not too many Jamie Moyers in the old NASCAR circuit.
There used to be
more.
So
Dick Trickle,
guys
I think, is
back
pretty
in the
old,
day,
right?
yeah, they used to, but now it's just so competitive. It's kind of like how the NHL got faster. Like NASCAR is like NASA, like the way they're analyzed. It's like Moneyball, and like they're super. It's not just some redneck like sticking his thumb out and being like, stick it there. Like, these guys are like engineers and shit now. So
what
like,
kind of trains they drive?
Fucking rocket ships, the Ricky rocket ship. No, but they've kind of figured out at a point where like the talent, not the talent, but the results start to peter out around age 43.
Okay.
It's kind of a downward trajectory. One of the few people, Kevin Harvick, just retired last year, and he was like 47 or 48, and he had a couple deep playoff runs and a 9-win season when he was like 44 or 45. So
God damn.
yeah, it's not impossible, but it seems like Dale Jr. was talking about it this week, that 43 seems to be that number where guys, start debating whether they should hang it up or not. And that seems like Tony Stewart retired at 43, Jeff Gordon, like a lot of the big names. And a lot of guys aren't successful after that point. So some of the ones that try to hang on, like Richard Petty didn't win a race his last 8 seasons. And he raced till he was in his 50s, but he didn't win a race for 8 years. Like, it's just, I don't know. I can't knock him. Jimmy Johnson's still out there trying to race a part-time schedule, and I don't know. I don't really care if a guy wants to race, and even if he's not doing well, like, I'm not going to be like, why not? Like, who gives a fuck? It's fucking Jimmy Johnson. Like,
I want to watch the senior citizens like fucking like invitational where it's like them on fucking mobility scooters.
The alumni game or something, the alumni race. They do some minor stuff.
Like,
they're not NASCAR events.
They have to drive Oldsmobiles with a left turn signal on the whole time.
Well, I was just listening to Kenny Wallace's show. Shout out to Herman this morning, and Greg Biffle was on, 2 former NASCAR legends, and they were talking about some rich eclectic dude in Arizona that invites out like Jeff Gordon, Ray Evernham, all these big NASCAR retired guys out to his like estate once a year, and they have a 2-mile dirt track where they race 20 Honda Odysseys.
Fuck yeah.
And it's all like retired NASCAR legends bumping and banging and fucking in minivans. And then they do some other, he's got like a 6-mile dune buggy course where they go out and race those, and he does a winery, so they all go out and like drink wine. He just has these like legends of the sport go out for like one weekend a year and just
sounds like if Stanhope was into
this like
auto
Cletus,
racing.
it's like a Cletus McFarland type event of just like
Is Cletus
Rusty
McFarland
Wallace.
a real person?
Yes.
Who is Cletus McFarland?
He's got like over 1 million subs on YouTube. He's just this eclectic motorsports dork who like He's like a redneck dude from Florida. He's like a meme. Like he always did do it for Dale is like his catchphrase for a while. He bought like a defunct racetrack in Florida, and I forget what it's called, the Freedom 500 or something, and they raced like 30 old Crown Vics, and they've had like Tony Stewart ran in it last year, Alex Bowman. They had Larry Mack announce it, who's like a NASCAR America's crew chief, if you will.
Gotcha.
So he has some big names come out there. He's just like a motorsports YouTuber he used to do drag racing. I don't think he was ever like a pro. He's just like some like rich kid who just fucking is into racing stuff and has this huge fucking following now. And he's races boats. He does drift racing. He just does all this stuff. I don't know. He's a big name in the motorsports world.
Right on. And you said that he does that, but then there's that like eccentric guy that's in Arizona or New Mexico or whatever that does the same shit. But like I said, I think it sounds like if Stanhope had like an automotive fucking like facility, like just living out in Bisbee, and it's like we're gonna race fucking deuce and a halves around a quarter mile, like
I guess that's like you were saying. You wish there was like their senior game or whatever. I guess that's their version of it, where they go bump and bang in fucking minivans or
like that's it. Like the more eccentric it is to me, the more interesting it is. Because midget car, like NASCAR, would be fun to go see in person. Midget cars, a lot of fun to go see in person. Like, and I like any automotive racing for the most part. It's like if you go there and you get like the smells and the esteem of like what's going on, it's like it's usually fun. But like the crazier and more off the wall the fucking event seems,
school bus figure 8 racing.
Like Evel Knievel fucking like jumping the Grand Canyon on a motorcycle, like something like that. Even I'm all in for. Like I went and saw FMX with my dad when I was in middle school, and that was like the nice.
I'm jealous. I was big into FMX when I was a kid. When it was like on ESPN and it was at its peak. Would you go to Philly?
Yep.
That's pretty cool. I always wanted to go to X Games and shit in Philly, but we never did.
We went to the X Games and the FMX.
That's sick.
Never went to Monster Jam though. My dad would never take me to Monster Jam.
I want to go to Monster Jam.
He said it looked too redneckish for him, and I'm like, but that's kind of
you're a property owner in Tuckahoe. Like, fucking, I'm listening to bluegrass here, bud. You gotta fucking get with the program.
I mean, listen, be the change in the world you want to see.
Tuckahoe doesn't mean more Genzos, dude. Fuck off. Let's go to Monster. Let's bring Jay to Monster Jam.
You moved here after we did.
No.
Yes.
I'm grandfathered in, dude.
By what?
I'm from Pistolberg. Anyway, it is notable Martin is retiring not after a drop-off. He was a championship contender last year. He had 3 wins. He won the regular season championship. He doesn't have any wins this year, but he's still top 5 in the points, and he still is a perennial championship contender. And, he's an interesting dude. He's really quiet. He's very soft-spoken. Apparently, aside from going to the racetrack from, like, Friday through Sunday, he's just off the grid. Like, he's in a deer stand or he's on a fishing boat. He's just a real big outdoorsman.
What's that fighter guy that everybody likes that's like that? The fucking crazy dude that looks like Shep. Or behaves like
Brendan
Shep.
Shepard.
Yeah, that guy.
I don't know.
Fucking
Sean Sugar, whatever.
No.
Pink hair?
The one that has like fuck. Well, I'm drawing such a fucking blank.
Dustin Poirier.
No, he's like the dude where he's always like on his ranch and he just says off the fucking wall shit.
I'm not well versed in UFC.
Hang on, keep talking.
But yeah, it's interesting. He expressed interest in wanting to race, maybe part-time or run some Xfinity races and whatnot, but the consensus is a lot of the people in Dirty Mo Media were like, I'll believe that when I see it. Like, once he gets away from it, we're never going to fucking see him again, but I hope he does come out and run some Xfinity races or something just to see him. I love when Dale Jr. runs an Xfinity race or someone.
Sean Strickland, that's his name.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He's got like pink hair now or something.
No, you said Sugar Shane O'Malley, I thought.
I view them as the same.
They are not. Sugar Shane O'Malley is like a skinny Mexican guy, and then Sean Strickland is like a jacked skinhead guy that lives in the woods.
Crazy shit.
Yeah, they both say crazy shit, but like different camps of crazy shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take away from it.
No, you're good. Yeah, not shocking. He's one of those ones where every season it's this. There's a deadline where they have to announce it by, and it's like the trade deadline or whatever. It's like, is Martin going to retire this year? Because he is 43 or something like that. He's getting around that age, and he's expressed interest in retiring before. It just sucks. I was just bummed. He's the Jersey guy. Everyone from around this area, you see not that you see NASCAR stuff often, but a lot of the times when you do see it, it's some Martin Truex gear. So he's I don't know.
He's a local celebrity.
Yeah, it just sucks. I was bummed, but I really want him. Now I'm pulling for him hard to win the chip this year. That'd be cool to win the championship and ride off into the sunset and go out on top. Because a lot of NASCAR guys don't get to retire when they want to. It just they lose their ride, they lose their sponsorship when their performance starts to peter out, and they don't get to come back. Like, they just lose their spot. There's only 40 spots or 36 spots or whatever, so it's pretty limited. And so a lot of guys just kind of get forced out of the sport. So interesting choice for him to go out on top. And
yeah, well,
let's go Martin this year.
Well,
I don't know.
Can I before we actually break the race down, I do want to say, because I just mentioned Jamie Moyer, how like he was a journeyman too.
He played 51.
Yeah, he was
pitching in like the World Series.
Yeah, he was in his late 40s when he pitched for the Phils in the 08 championship, and he
legend.
He was a journeyman. He played for like literally every team in the National League, I think, in like the span of like a decade. And then he settled on the Phillies for one reason or another. I forget why. He liked Philly. I know
Like cheerleaders.
He did like cheerleaders. He liked fucking Tony Luke's and then
Yeah.
go Dunkin' Donuts. How we doing? Go over to the fucking Diddy Bar. Let's go to the Rippers,
That
boys.
sounds like a circuit that you've done many a time.
Yes.
I've hit Tony Luke's almost every time I go to a game, but I've never hit Dunkin' afterwards.
So
I've
it's
never
you
been like,
go Tony Luke's and the Titty Bar, and then Dunkin' to sober up.
need a little
and-
coffee.
Yeah, and then if you're not feeling Tony Luke's, Taco Bell, they open the Taco Bell there. So like when I would go solo to a Flyers game or something like that, it's like Taco Bell, Titty Bar, and then Dunkin'.
Solo Flyers game's a fucking... Were you meeting someone there?
No, just went by myself.
Solo
a couple-
Flyers game's
went
a
a couple
move.
times by myself.
I've only done that for, I think, comedy shows.
Yeah, comedy shows is pretty common. What do you think's the strangest activity to do by yourself? Masturbating. You
The
always need
strangest...
friends.
That's interesting. Going out to eat by yourself and not staring at your phone the whole time is like a fucking alpha move. That's a tough one.
That's
because
me.
I've done it, but you're in your phone the
That's
whole
me.
fucking time.
Yeah, I don't bring my phone out when I eat. I go to back when I would eat.
That
at
sounds
Dino's.
horrible. I full on autism out. If I'm eating by myself, it's like I need to put on a podcast or something. Like
I just like staring
before
at people.
I eat, I go on YouTube and I'm like, what am I gonna watch?
What are we
eat?
eating today, boys?
What am I gonna watch while I eat?
Who are going to be my friends in my
Yes,
head
yes.
while I'm
Who's
sitting?
going to distract me from my thoughts?
Yeah, I would go to Dino's by myself all the time and sit at the counter and just like watch Sports Center with like it's like me and like three other old farts and just
At least
drink
there's
coffee.
a TV on, so you can kind of
like-
there's something to look at.
Yeah, I
I'm
would
saying
get,
just going to a restaurant with no TV and just like staring off into space.
it's that scene from Forgetting Sarah Marshall where Jonah Hill's like the hostess at the restaurant and like Jason Segel walks in. He's like, "Yeah, table for one, please." And Jonah Hill's like, "It's kind of a couple's place. You want me to like pull up a chair? You want a magazine or something?" Like, it's so fucking weird.
And I used to go to shows alone, and now I think that's pretty weird. My grandparents used to always give me guff about it, like they thought I was like a serial
You should
killer
go
or
to.
something.
We should go with friends. Like, no, I'm gonna
I
just
was
go.
just it just some friends weren't into certain comedians, and it's just like I don't know, asking you know what I mean, like.
Yeah.
Stu probably didn't want to go watch Chris D'Elia or whoever the fuck that I went alone, or like I don't know. It was just trying to organize a group of like 25-year-old dudes to go do something. It wasn't always the easiest thing to do, and
Well, at least there's 20 of them.
so I don't. But I prefer to go with people now. I didn't necessarily love it when I went by myself then.
Yeah.
But like you weren't in town. I don't know. I went to Rogan by myself. I don't know if Aaron couldn't go or what the circumstances were. Because it's weird. I'm like, why didn't I just go with Aaron? And it's just
Okay. Do you think it's weird to go to a movie by yourself, like at the theater?
no.
Okay, I do that a lot too. I usually go.
It's kind of weird, but not really. My dad does that. He calls it catching a matinee. He smokes a bowl in the parking lot and goes and watches. He loves movies where it's like special effects shit.
So
he'll
he
always
just
be
gets
like,
high and watches shit blow up.
Yeah, and he's like,
Can't
"Dude, look,
relate."
the special effects. Dude, you're gonna make that my like next week. And I'm like,
I always make it's silver now. It's gonna be brown by next week.
Joe ate a fucking gabagool sandwich when I got here. And I was just farting up a storm.
Hey, it was a Moulignan.
Movie by yourself's not that weird.
Gambling by
I think
yourself.
the reason I was going to those shows by myself, I was super depressed.
Yeah,
so I was like
that doesn't-
antisocial. Like, so it wasn't. Sorry, Stu and Aaron. I should have invited you guys, but I was just sad. But
Well, I was in New Orleans. I was doing the exact same thing. I would have a routine of much like my strip club or Tony Luke's strip club, Dunkin' Donuts. I would go casino, strip club,
Dollar General
bar,
for beanie weenies.
casino again, and then bar again, and then drive home from New Orleans. That was always I had that routine. It was all by myself. That was never
Yeah, it's fair though if you're in a foreign state.
a different place.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's fair to do things. That's like totally different ballgame. But at home, I don't know. Just shows is kind of weird. Restaurants. I don't think movies is that weird. I used to go bowling by myself a lot. I don't really think that's weird.
nah, you
Like-
got to do it for the league once in a while too. So it's like
I
I'm
like
kinda
it. I kind of
desensitized, yeah.
prefer it. Not prefer. Like I love going bowling with you and Johnny and whoever. But like, just
Less
there's
prep.
something nice about going on like a Tuesday afternoon. There's no one there. It's quiet. You just get a lane to yourself, book 5 games, and just fucking go to town. Like
Less pressure, just like completely wide open. You know.
yeah, it's just you. You can go as fast or as slow as you want.
Yeah.
Sit there and fuck off for 10 minutes. Yeah, I don't know. It's
I-
kind of a it's a that's a tough question.
I was gonna say, all right, so I'll give you a couple scenarios of things I've done by myself that are pretty fucking funny, because they probably would have been way easier and way more fun if I did it with someone else. Driving across the country to Colorado, that was a fucking hard one by myself, and I drove from Kansas City, Missouri, all the way
Just
to
the sheer fact that you can't pass off to someone.
Yeah.
And keep moving.
I
So
drove-
you probably were doing 12, 15-hour clips or
well,
whatever.
I drove 22 hours in a day from Kansas City, Missouri, back home, and that
just
was
because you wanted to get
just
home.
because I wanted to get home, and
How were you staying awake?
that was a lot of coffee, and then at one point they shut a huge chunk of 70 in Pennsylvania down because of a snowstorm, and I was like, if I get stuck in the snow, it's gonna be like 2 days till I get home. But if I could beat this storm, then I'm gonna be able to get home tonight. And I'm like, not fucking risking it. So I was just motivated. I got I think 4 cups of coffee at one point and just put them in one of those racks and put it on the passenger seat of my car and was just like, whenever one's
Guzzling
down,
'em.
yep, whenever one goes down, it's like pee in that one, throw it out the window, and then just keep
Hard
going.
to pee for me while driving.
I mean, you're going 80, so everything's on cruise control, and Pennsylvania for the most part, it's it goes up and down, but it's not too curvy.
Nah, it's just the seating.
Yeah.
I'm a tall dude, so I'm like,
Yeah, don't have that problem. I just stand up. And
yeah,
fucking
I can't. Like my legs have nowhere to go, and then I'm in a fucking Corolla too. So I tried to once. I think we talked about it on here.
Yeah.
And I was parked in a fucking parking lot while I was working, and I was just like, it was sea aisle in the wintertime. There was no public restrooms were open or anything like that. And I was desperate, so I tried to pee in a fucking Gatorade bottle or whatever in my car. And I just peed all over myself and had to go home.
happens to the best of us, buddy.
I was covered in fucking piss. I literally had to go home, shower, and change, and clean my seat. And that's while parked. So
Yeah.
I can't imagine while doing 80 down the highway. I commend you and all truckers that
I gotta-
just fucking rock one while moving. Because in my head, I was gonna say, all those coffees, how many times did you have to pull over?
No, I had a
It's
whole
just-
system
you were
down. I was just pissing right in the cups.
That's
it's-
efficient.
yeah.
I like that as far from an efficiency standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, I had a plan. I didn't want to get stuck in Pennsylvania after being stuck. The whole reason I left Kansas City was because I heard gunshots outside my window at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was like,
You were like, nah.
I could go back to sleep. All right, maybe not. All right, yeah, I'm leaving. It's just okay,
Too
done.
light for this.
Yeah, then some pimp was microwaving his ramen noodles in the
Crack.
in the
his current
yeah.
batch of the week.
Yes, it was a batch of ramen. No, it was probably crack. But yeah, there was some guy using the microwave in the fucking in the foyer, and he's like, "Not too many other people up this hour." And I'm like, "Did you hear all those gunshots?" And he's like, "Nah, but I probably know who did them." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm
It's
leaving.
me. I did them.
I just shot those
I'm
gunshots."
hungry after shooting those people.
After shooting that hooker, I fucking just led to treat myself to a nice, delicious meal of ramen in this microwave.
It's just the worst. I've been super tired driving. It's like that. When you're legit falling asleep at the wheel, it's scary. It's not. That's 22 hours sounds like a rough one.
It was bad. Ohio was by far the worst. Once I hit Ohio, I knew I was pretty much home free though, because it's Ohio's quick. Pennsylvania's 5.5 hours, but Ohio's 2.5 ish, and they let you get away with 80, there. So dude, easy peasy.
Yeah, that's just. God bless. That's a tough one.
Have you ever rented a boat by yourself?
No.
That was another one that was
I
pretty
had very
fun.
minimal experience on boats.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I rented a.
Don't have me sea legs. Arg.
I rented a boat from Larson's and then ran into a piling with it, and they tried to make me pay like $200 to get it repainted. And I told them no. I was like,
I bought the insurance.
yeah, they give you a little dinghy with a little like 2-stroke outboard, like 15 horsepower motor.
Were you just cruising, or were you maybe doing a little fishing, or? Just...
It was so the one that I had like little pole holders. So I got my rod and my reel, brought it out, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go like troll for some flounder, and I went out at the wrong time. The current was way too strong for my little fucking motor, so I just basically ended up hanging out by like they have these giant like channel markers. They're not buoys. They're like giant like it looks like a telephone pole sticking out there, and it's got a big red cone on top of it. Yeah, so the closest thing that I could get to where it was like I knew if I was in that thing, the current would at least take me back to the boat place. I wouldn't have to like fight it. It was like if you kind of hung out near this like piling thing. So I just hung out there, dropped the line a few times, didn't catch anything. But at one point the anchor moved, like because I guess in soft mud the anchor doesn't like set correctly and just kind of move. So my boat just like slammed into the fucking pole on the side and like dented the boat and everything. Not like bad. It didn't like break the boat or anything, but it was like it's
Imagine fucking
a metal.
I'm taking on water. Mayday, mayday.
Yeah, like it was like a metal boat, like so it was like very apparent that I ran into something, and they were like, "What the hell happened?" I was like, "Well, I dropped anchor, and like the anchor moved." And the guy was like, "How did you drop the anchor?" And I like showed him. He's like, "That's not how you drop an anchor," because I guess there is a process to dropping an anchor. You gotta like lay it down and then keep it taut, and then like unfurl it with your hands till it gets tight, so that it like
snags on the bottom.
Yeah, like grabs the bottom as opposed to just like plopping. And yeah, I didn't do it right, so it like
I
moved.
would have just totally just chucked it overboard.
That's what I did. Yeah. That was about that was like the sketchiest thing I think I've done by myself. Short of like.
Yeah, I've gone swimming in the ocean by myself in the off season, and that was kind of like a
depression.
No, it was nice. It was great, but it was just this feeling like sketchy, like because there's rip currents and. I wasn't going out far, but it was just there was no one around. So it's like if something happens, I'm fucked. Like kind of like being out on the water by yourself. Like it's just like this is not going to end well. If
I take on water, I don't have a radio.
I go riding 6 miles into the fucking state forest by myself, and like there's no cell service, and like I don't really feel. I don't know, like that. Like people will be like, you shouldn't ride alone or whatever. And it's just like I don't know, like. I've heard there's a guy who died in Mays Landing a few years ago, and he was with a group of 10 people. Like, if you wreck hard enough, it don't really matter if you're alone or not. Like, he was dead before the helicopter got there, so... the only thing that I worry about out there is if, something breaks. It's like, how far is this walk back to the street going to be? Because I'm usually in places where, unless you're in a quad or a dirt bike, you can't really get to me. Like, it's... all the trails are really swamped out and whatnot. I'm able, because the dirt bike's so skinny, you can just go around the big ass puddles and shit. But someone having like Aaron come pick me up in his pickup truck, it's like it's not happening back there. Like there's no.
Well, I picked you up that one time in the taco when your that fucking clip or whatever broke on your rear wheel, and you were just like you were going, and then all of a sudden it was like you could see the chain turning, but the wheel wasn't turning.
Yeah, the wheel studs or whatever. I never fixed that. And I bought the parts and just never fixed it.
Imagine like if that was like 4 miles into the fucking Atlantic County Preserve. It's like you're fucked, man. Like,
I had it happen once where I sunk the Hawk in the mud on the Narrows Road Trail, and I don't know why because in my head now I'm like I could have pushed it back the opposite way towards the way I came in, and it was probably only a mile. But anyway, I pushed it. It wouldn't start, so I pushed it out to the train tracks, and I was walking it towards Woodbine. I don't know what my thought process was, but and it was getting dark. And I was able to get it started after like half an hour. I guess it dried enough or whatever. Like I must have fouled the spark plug or something like that. But that was the one time where I was like legit scared. I hadn't eaten. I was like lightheaded. I was all sweaty. It was like summertime. It was hot. And I was set to have to push the bike like at least 3 miles to the street. And even then, I didn't have anyone I don't think anyone was available to pick me up with a truck. So it's like in my head, I'm like, I'm going to have to push this
all the way back.
It was like that trail spit you out behind the dump in Woodbine. It's like now I'm going to have to push it over to 610 and then, 5 miles down 610 back to my mom's. I had one break. My chain broke in the pit behind Acme.
Broke my chain, man.
My mom's a gangster, dude. My chain broke it was the chain that came with the Hawk. It was a piece of shit, and I ordered like the nice Amazon upgrade that I found on like Hawk forums, and it was just sitting in the box. I just never put it on. Chain breaks. It's in this small little, the pond behind Acme or whatever. It's
Yeah,
like
totally.
this little sand pit. It's nothing. I was just farting around back there, and the chain broke off, and I couldn't. There's a hill to get in at the entrance, and I couldn't push it. The bike was so heavy I couldn't push it over the hill, so I was literally stuck in there. And my mom like came with the chain and helped me put the new chain on. She's better at wrenching than I am, so
I know
she
she-
basically put the Hawk together, and then she helped me change the chain like in the sand, and it was hot and buggy and the whole nine. But yeah, she's the fucking best
LG.
pit crew I could have. But
That
other
would
than
be-
that, no, nothing too sketchy.
That would be funny if you start go-karting again, and like you know how like Tommy has Autumn. It's like me and Elle are your pit crew, and I'm not even
That's
there.
the
to
only
do
way I
anything.
can foresee it going.
Yeah, it's like it's just me, your mom, and Cheyenne just showing up,
Yeah.
and like Cheyenne just chases you the whole way.
That'll make me run pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
You say that. I've been looking on Marketplace. I search like racing go-karts.
No way, really.
A lot of the go-karts you see on there, it's just like the Sam's Club, like dune buggy style ones. But there is a few like, there was one in Mays Landing. It was a bunch of quarter midgets, like a whole like four carts for sale. Like I always wonder like are these people getting out of racing, or like are they just get whole new fleet? Like why are you selling all this stuff? Like
Why are you gay?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's that's
But
it.
I've been keeping my eye out, but then I don't know where I would run it. Like, I don't really care to travel to Delaware. I can't drive 3 hours every week and 3 hours back and be at the track all. Like, I just can't. There's not really an option
It's a
around
commitment,
here.
yeah.
So I don't know. I just find myself looking at them, which that's where it starts. And then in 2 years I'm gonna be like, I sent it. I bought a $3,000 racing
Hell
shifter
yeah.
cart like that runs on methanol.
Yes, I get to make my own alcohol and the fucking still.
I'm trying to look
their
at like
shit.
electric ones. That's my dream like passion project, is to own some plot of land somewhere in the middle of fucking nowhere and have me, you, Stu, Shep, Aaron, Jan, like just 10 guys
Well,
and
let's
have
get it.
10 go-karts. And
Let's get a steamroller and like some like a skid steer, and let's like plow out a fucking road course back around here, and just
they call that
fucking-
yard karting.
Yeah?
That's very popular in
Oh,
certain
let's-
regions.
well,
It's
I-
sick. They're always in my fucking reels. It's called this one called like Monday Racing or something. It's literally like the tiniest oval. Like you're kind of just turning the whole time. There
Yeah.
not even really a straightaway, but it's just like 20 dudes just out there
Having
just
a
farting
blast.
around. Yeah, dude, just
That's-
having the
Well,
fucking
'cause
time of their lives.
The
Like,
dudes that do crazy carts, that would be the one that if I was gonna like commit to like doing something, like the competitive crazy carts looks like the most fun. It's those stupid things that they got real popular in LA because I guess like they have like designated places for them, but they're
those
kind of
weird downhill like drifting ones or
no.
whatever.
These are they're like just. It's like a mixture between that like stupid cart thing that they would give you in gym class where it's like two really tight wheels up front and then two wide ones in the back, but there's like a way you can like lift it and like it reduces friction so you can drift into corners.
That's
and
the
stuff.
ones I'm talking
Oh,
about.
those
They're
are-
non-motorized.
Yeah, well, these ones have motors because there's people
okay.
there's people that take them and they put like they're like battery operated and they'll go through a fucking Target in them and like they'll have a course set out in the Target. It's like, all right, we're going in through the front, then down to electronics, make a left, head towards produce, head towards home goods, back up through the chip and the frozen food section, then
Down
we're-
the registers,
and
the
then-
front
and-
stretch.
and yeah, then like the home stretch and finish line is like behind the register. Like they have like a whole thing, and they'll just like unannounced 10 people, 15 people show up at Target with these fucking carts and just like and just fucking take off and start doing this, and they're knocking things over. I think some of them they have pre-approval for, but like a lot of times they're hitting like product
Yeah, I
and
want
making a
no
mess.
parts of that. But
That looks like fun. That's my speed.
I don't foresee this happening anytime in the near future, but if I get older and have some savings and land becomes cheaper and whatnot, I want to buy like,
These things.
yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah.
I want to, and it would have to be somewhat close here. Like I don't want to drive an hour. Like I want it to be like in like Estelle or somewhere where you could get 10 acres for fucking $100,000. You buy that and you put like a fucking half-mile dirt track on it. And now with the electric carts, I know they're fucking gay, but they are fun and they're quiet. And it's
Yeah.
like I don't think you'd have to deal with noise ordinances. Like I always go back to that because my home track, the only track I ever raced at, Corson's, got shut down for noise ordinances, and that is an issue with racing, is how loud it is, and people who live nearby fucking complain. Like short tracks around the country get shut down for noise ordinances. This isn't a unique case here. But I think the way to circumvent that is unfortunately electric carts. But I mean, no maintenance. I don't know how expensive they are, but it's
Probably.
they're probably really
Yeah.
expensive for
Yeah.
good ones, but like I don't know. I don't know how long they last or how they hold up or what, but I mean, you don't have to change oil and shit every week. Like, it's pretty low maintenance compared to a fucking motor. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I don't know. That would be sick to have, Seymour Speedway in the woods and fucking Mays Landing, and it's just 20 dudes on. And the thing with karting and just racing in general is it's a high cost of entry. I mean, Tommy swapped a fucking motor between races the other day. I can't imagine what a backup motor costs. Thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
like thousands. And
Easily.
the knowledge to be able to do that, where it's like, guys like me, I'm not changing a fucking motor. Like, I would have to employ someone like Schuler or Aaron to fucking work on my shit.
I would,
you know what I mean?
get out there. I'd need an engine swap, and I'd just be like
We're going home.
rifling through my fucking wallet looking for my AAA card. Hey guys, slow down! I need to call someone.
I'm down 400 laps right now.
Yeah.
AAA still isn't here, but
The tow truck's racing.
I think you could make it kind of, not like a business, but have 20 house carts. That's going to cost a lot of money. This is, again, way down the line in life. I'd have to be like 50 to be able to afford this, and maybe not. Anyway, make it to where like that you spend like a men's league where it's $1,000 for a season or whatever.
Yeah.
But we provide the cart and like that whole thing where it's just like it's more accessible. You don't have to worry about buying a cart, storing a cart, working on a cart. It's just like, there's going to be some that run faster and some that aren't, but like we'll just draw a number from a hat and that's the cart you're running this weekend. That type of thing where it could be, and I don't even know if it would be successful or if you could even fill the field, but I just think it wouldn't be a for-profit business model. It would just be like, let's make enough money to keep the lights on type thing.
Yeah.
Like that would be a fun passion project for me, because I did have a lot of fun racing carts, and I'm a bit of a pussy when it comes to racing. Like, I don't really have any interest into getting into anything like way faster. Like, I really wouldn't want to run a modified or like a big sprint car or anything like that. Like, I don't want to die. Like, go-karting seems like a kind of safe way to get that racing itch out and not, I have kids. I'm 30. Like, I'm not trying to flip a fucking sprint car or anything. Like, I just want to go fuck around with my buddies. So
I watched a video of a guy doing drag racing. It was like a stock Ferrari or something like that, like a Carrera. Or no, that's a Porsche. No, what the fuck?
Ferrari.
A fucking Ferrari. No, I forget what the nature of the fucking thing was, but it was like the title of the video was just like when you call it or whatever, and the guy was like, watch me fucking blow, like he's like, watch me blow the front tire and then like fishtail out and hit the wall, and then like he fucking revs the engine a whole bunch, red lines, it does like a little burnout, but he's on like a fucking straightaway. And he just called it. He absolutely fucking just like blew his front tire out and then fucking went left into the wall and like flipped the fucking car over. And I think it was just like a standard fucking Ferrari. I don't think it was like any mods, anything crazy.
Oh, there's some gnarly wrecks and drag racing.
And that's like, it's enough where I'm like, yeah, go-karts are fun for me. I don't need anything like that. I don't even need too much power. Like, I get uncomfortable driving Jay's Beamer because it's like, if you go fast.
Tina's car will do 135 or 130 before it hits a limiter, and like, yeah, I scare myself in that car when I drive it. Like, it's got some fucking balls, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's it's no joke. Like, it's the fastest vehicle you think you've ever driven.
Tina's Beamer.
Yes, hands down.
Yeah. The fastest ever gone was in that car. It's either 130 or 135. I hit the limiter. And then aside from that, it's it's not fast at all, but it's my Crown Vic. That did 125 and it had a limiter.
Nothing on that. But
It's all loose at the end. It's hard to roll the big ones.
yeah, that's what she said. The fastest
I haven't driven anything exceptionally fast. Some of the sport bike buddies, they've all done like upwards of 200 miles an hour. Like, I've never done anything like that.
I drove my mom's Audi A4 when I was like 15, 16. It was like the last time she ever owned an Audi. I drove that, and she took it up to 165 one time just to show that she could. And
With you in the car?
Yeah, with me in the
Holy
car.
fuck.
We were on the fucking expressway or something.
I feel
like
bad
that.
when I'm rushing and I'm doing 80 with my kid in the car.
No, I was
Just
I was in
hey,
my
y'all.
teens, and I was just like, come on, show us how fast this thing could go. She dropped it into fucking fourth, and it was like,
Hey, she was gripping and ripping, dude.
and it was just like, damn, this thing is fucking monster.
I forgot she drove a manual, dude. Renee was a gangster.
She's from Detroit. You can't not be from Detroit and not drive a manual. They fuck. By the way, that whole little fucking mini bike culture that they have going on in Detroit, that's some sick shit right
That's
there.
cool.
I do like it. There's that guy that cruises around with the 360 camera on his sport bike, and all the fucking black hood rat dudes come up to him and they're like, "Hey, yo, man, I saw you on YouTube. Put me on there. My name is Squeezy too."
And they're
like,
riding like Harbor Freight motors
Yeah,
on like,
like,
a
they're,
fucking
like-
mini bike chassis.
yeah, they're like the Ollie's, the fucking outlet store, like what's the new one? Fucking Tractor Supply Company. Yeah, they get those like fucking Coleman fucking
Polestar.
yeah, and like they'll fucking just mod them out and put like metal fucking chassis on the outside, so it's
Yeah.
like armored up. It's fucking sick. I like that shit.
That's fun. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
There's a racing tier that runs the Harbor Freight, like I think it's Briggs and Stratton or whatever motor. They're called like the Predator motor or something, but it's like budget racing where it's like you can go pick up this motor brand new for a couple $100, a couple hundred on a frame, and like if you're skilled enough to like put it together, you know, you can go run competitively for under $1,000. Like that's
Really?
it's pretty cool.
This is
It's
something
not
I might
around
have-
here. It's
I was
you
gonna
gotta
say
go
that-
down south. I mean, they run. It's called like the Hornet division, and it's just stock. It has to be either like a Honda Civic, a Nissan Sentra, like small compact cars, and they run like short track shit like that. And it's just like, you know, you go on Craigslist, pick one of these up for a few grand, and like
Yeah.
just go race like that. I love that shit.
That's very fucking cool. Like
Yeah.
that's my bread and butter. Like that would be how you get me like to really become a hardcore race fan. Is just be like, oh, this is accessible for like pocket change.
You would
Yeah.
be more than a race fan. You would be a racer at that
Yeah,
point.
that's
You'd be
just
like,
a
dude,
racist.
I'm well, that goes along with the race culture.
Sorry,
But yeah, the Predator class, that's pretty cool.
child predator class.
Whoever wins gets off their Megan's Law and they're able to join the Boy Scouts again. Something like Tina was watching something before I left, and it was the
Catch a
lawyer who it was on Netflix. The lawyer who represented the people who sued the Boy Scouts, and it was something like over 4,000 lawsuits, and like they were featuring that like the head guy, like the fucking some guy who just raped like hundreds of kids. Like he
Yeah.
was like the king, and he was.
He's the king of Boy Scouts.
Oh, dude, that's just. And then they showed the cop who like interviewed him, and he's like, "I've never interviewed a serial pedophile before. Like to had this number of confirmed."
Touchies.
I was just like, all right, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna head out now. This is whack. I was making the same face that I made when like you were talking about the pedo Nazi guy or whatever.
Derlwanger.
Yeah.
that guy. Yeah.
I was just like.
Yeah.
I don't really want to watch
I don't think
the
this-
Boy Scout lawsuit documentary.
The
like,
Boy Scout. What badge did you get?
I got the penis badge.
I got the mushroom badge. We have a kid that's in the Boy Scouts right now, and he got his shotgun badge the other day, so we were all asking him about that. Apparently, he did not like the shotgun very much, but he did it enough to get the badge, so, yeah.
What's that mean?
He just
Back in
fucking...
my day, it's when you sucked a bong head out of your buddy's mouth.
Yes. My buddy's penis.
I shotgunned a bowl hit or something from Nick Tozer, and we had just eaten Wawa hoagies, and it just literally, it tasted like his hoagie breath, like it was, and weed was sparse then. We were like freshmen in high school, so it was like we were trying to make this
You make it
gram
stretch,
last.
yeah, you're
So it was
stretching
like
it,
he
dog.
took like a gravity bong hit and then blew it directly in my mouth, and like it took everything in me not to puke. That was my first and last shotgun. Like I was just like, dude,
I can tell
unless
you...
it's with a chick, I don't want to suck on your fucking.
No, chicks make it worse sometimes. I did it with Sarah.
Me and Tina definitely did it before.
We were sitting right there. It was me, a couple of friends, so like my friend CJ, my friend Laura, and then Matt Terry, who was at this point, he had just gotten his male model, he got hired by Ford Models, so like he was like the hot fucking celebrity, and it's like, all right, we got Matt Terry here, like we're gonna hang out, get fucking ripped, and like everybody's gonna like listen to him talk about going to Europe and fucking models and shit. And he's like, yeah, over in Europe they do this thing where it's like similar to a shotgun, but they like take you take the hit, and then you like take your hand and you take like
they lock
they like
hands.
go like this, and he's like, no, but like they have to do it a certain way with their pinkies like interlocked but like out or something, so that you can like carb it basically, like so like one person can blow it and then the other person's like just removes their like he was
I've done that gay shit,
he's
too.
overcomplicating something that is really straightforward. And I happened to be in rotation next to Sarah, who is, for all intents and purposes, my sister. Even though we're not really related.
She's like your Italian sister.
Yes,
or
my
whatever.
Italian sister. I was like, Terry, you're overcomplicating this. Shut up. And he's like, well, how are you doing? I was like, Sarah, come here. And as soon as I
Come
shotgun
here.
it with her, we both like fucking leaned back. I was like, yeah, I need to go take a shower. That was fucking gross. And we try not to talk about it amongst each other, but it does come up in conversation once in a while because everybody at her wedding was like, I'm surprised you and her didn't get married. And I'm like, well, did you ever hear about us smoking weed with Matt Terry? They're like, no. And I'm like, yeah, we figured out pretty quickly that would be a bad idea.
That was like the risque move, like shotgunning back in the day.
Especially with homies, like, you know, if you did it
That's
with
pretty gay. I meant with like chicks. Like chicks, I feel like at parties would be like, oh, shotgun a hit.
You never like shotgun with your boy and slip them a little
Shotgun
tongue.
weed is gay. Shotgun and beers rules.
Yes,
dude.
way funner.
Anyway,
I remember when you drank.
yeah.
I want to fire up the NASCAR segment. I gotta pee.
Sure. I had something on the tip of my penis, on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, shotgunning's gay. I'm trying to think of the other gay weed stuff from like back in the
Ghetto bubbles.
gravity bongs, or ghetto bubbles. You blow bubbles with weed and watch it.
Well, it's like you take like you gotta have like a really like steamrolling fucking blunt, and you get like a big hit of blunt smoke, and you go like, and it like all comes out, and then you suck it back
It's called
in.
ghosting.
Oh,
From
yeah,
where I'm from.
no,
Ghosting a
ghetto
hit.
bubble. That's what I always.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you could French inhale back in the day or do that,
you were cool.
You could get laid off of a good ghetto bubble.
You could roll a cigarette or a joint with one hand back in the day. That was like enough for girls to get your attention. Because I remember on the boardwalk,
If you could roll a blunt, you're
Yeah.
in. Like you were the guy at the function. Like,
yeah. I don't know.
you got some clout.
Before I leave, actually, there's a lawyer that I have who I cannot say his name because he would not like telling this, but he was on the tennis team for a very prestigious Ivy League school. And when he was on the tennis team, he was one of like 4 kids, and the other 3 kids were black. And
On the tennis team?
On the tennis team, yeah. And this was like early 90s, so it was like they were kind of like that first wave of like the Williams sisters, like were pretty, like they were like the height of like them being like the new faces and like the opens and whatnot. So like, yeah, there was a couple of like these like hood rat black kids that he was on the tennis team with, and my guy is Italian white kid from Vineland, and they all get weed one night, and he's like, I don't smoke weed, and they were like, well, why don't, like, you still want to come hang out? He's like, yeah, not a problem. So they all get weed. They don't have anywhere to smoke. He's like, well, why don't you guys just roll a blunt? And they're like, we don't know how to roll a blunt. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like the one white guy here, and I'm the only one that knows how to roll
he
a
doesn't
blunt.
smoke weed, but he knows how to
He
roll.
knew
a
how to
blunt.
roll a blunt because he grew up in Vineland. He would go to Vineland high school parties, and like, yeah, he just learned because he was like, there's a reason he's a
He
lawyer.
didn't smoke, but
No,
he rolled blunts.
He was just.
I've never heard.
He
of
was able to observe enough times of like how the process of like breaking it down that he was just able to do it. It wasn't like
It wasn't a pearl.
He was
but
like, it wasn't perfect, but yeah, like I did it. But yeah, he is now. Actually, I can't say. But yeah, sorry.
Cut that part out. We're going to start off with the ARCA race. I'm going to try and plow through this as quickly as possible because I literally have a fucking essay written here. Yeah, so we had Connor Zilic wins the ARCA race. He had a great battle with William Sawalich at the end there. Not too much to say, but Sawalich was fucking beating the shit out of him in the corners, outright trying to wreck him for the win. And I love shit like that. Apparently they had gotten into it earlier in the race, and Sawalich was going for a little payback, but it didn't work out. Zilic hangs on. I think it was his second ARCA win. Overall good ARCA show at Iowa. Then the next day, Saturday, we had the Xfinity race. Let's see here. Sam Mayer edges Riley Herbst in a tight battle to the end. Riley Herbst was the weaker car, but he was taking the inside line on the restarts there and was able to kind of keep it interesting, keep Sam honest, but I really don't think he was in any danger there. A lot of talk this weekend about Sam Mayer's celly after the win. It was Super Sam. I guess he does that after every win. He opens up his driver's shirt and he has like a black and white Superman Sam Mayer logo. It's pretty gay. Not many people were fans of it, but what are you going to do? That was a good race, but the bulk of my notes here, I have more to say about that race, but I guess I wasn't really taking notes. The bulk of my notes here are the Cup race. Oh, and then I also have Riley Herbst roasted Sam Mayer, the guy he was battling with in the in the post-race interview where the NBC had this interesting shot where Sam Mayer is celebrating from the top of his car, and then they're showing Riley Herbst on pit lane with Sam Mayer in the background, and he's just sitting there looking like pissed off and dejected after just coming second. But he has, a pretty standard salty interview, and then at the end, he cracked me the fuck up. Like, he was just like, yeah, Sam's gonna do his Superman thing or whatever he does on top of the car there, and then he started cracking up. It was like a really dry, just diss, but he was laughing. He was having a good time with it. That was funny as fuck, dude. It made me a Riley Herbst fan, so I'll be pulling for him next week. That was funny as shit. Cup race, first ever Cup race in Iowa. They had this wonky repave. Apparently, it was a timing issue. They couldn't finish the job while having enough time to. I don't know. I don't fucking know nothing, but they had half the corner repaved and this weird one lane coming out of the center. It looked weird, but I didn't really care. I didn't mind. It was fine. Put on a good race. It was Iowa's first ever Cup race. This track was designed by Rusty Wallace in 2004. They've been running trucks, Xfinity, ARCA, and stuff like that since then. Apparently, it's always put on a good show. So, happy to have it aboard. It was a good race. The best short track race of the year, I'd say. Maybe besides Bristol with the tire issues, but I don't know. There was an insane save by Noah Gragson. Not particularly remembering that. I think he was completely sideways in the corner and somehow held on to it. Stenhouse was running a P20. Most of my notes are about Stenhouse. Me and Joe here are big Ricky Stenhouse fans, but Stenhouse is running P20 in the first stage. Pretty solid for Ricky. I think if Ricky comes home with a top 20 on any given week, I'm happy as a Ricky Stenhouse fan. I don't mean that in a bad way. That's where that team should be running. Anything above that is a bonus. But the NBC broadcasts, night and day better. Not saying it was perfect. There was a couple instances where there was minor mistakes, but they resolved it swiftly to the point where it didn't take away from the broadcast at all. And not as much commercials as Fox. More side by side when they had to do commercials. Just a night and day product that NBC produces compared to Fox. And Fox, I like the guys on Fox. I don't hate the booth. It's just solely the production. And Fox used to be the golden standard in the early 2000s, and it's not that anymore. It's across the board. All NASCAR fans are saying it. Fox is just not good. Hopefully they can actually listen to some critiques of the fans and change things, but they haven't, so I don't see why they would. I don't know if it's a budgeting issue or why. It's just simple things that it's not the whole product that Fox puts out. It's just the minor things like, battle for the lead with 5 to go, and we're cutting to a Wendy's cutaway. Anyway, Fox sucks. NBC was fucking great. It was a breath of fresh air, I have written here. That's pretty gay. Stenhouse drops back to P32 in stage 2. Just kind of running there, not very well. Denny Hamlin, another stinker of a week. Denny Hamlin's one of my guys. I root for Denny. Love his podcast, Actions Detrimental, on YouTube. Give it a watch. I didn't really give a fuck about Denny Hamlin. I wasn't really a fan, or I didn't root against him. He's kind of a polarizing figure in racing, where, like a Kyle Busch back in the day, you either loved him or you hated him. I was pretty much neutral. I didn't know much about him, but having this podcast and this access made me a Hamlin fan. He's a interesting dude. He's a great driver, and he was, I think, 2 laps down by the end of it. But I have written here, Denny Hamlin running in the back, first 2 stages, -1 lap. Handling issues for the 11 car. Ricky Stenhouse having a career run. So I guess this was later in the race. Ricky was in the top 10, and Ricky's team had the fucking call of the week, man. There's this thing called the wave around, where if you're a lap down and all of the guys in the lead lap, if every single car in the lead lap pits, they all get waved around. Like if they stay out and they choose not to pit, they get waved around. Now they're all back on the lead lap.
Okay.
And Ricky made it up to the front on some strategy. He stayed out during a caution. He was running really old tires, but he just did it to get the track position. Mm-hmm. And then there was another caution not long after, where there was some big names a lap down, just the way this weird pit cycle, and there was some unopportune cautions thrown at bad times during the pit cycle, and some big name guys were trapped a lap down. Ricky Stenhouse, he needed to pit, but they made the call. He was the only car on the lead lap that didn't pit. He assumed the lead, and he trapped over 20 cars a lap down.
Damn.
By doing this. He fucked up half the field's race by doing this. It was fucking awesome.
man.
In the moment, I didn't even appreciate how genius it was. I thought it was just like, oh, he's staying out to get trapped. Like, cool, he's staying out. He's going to be in the top 5 now or whatever. But no, he trapped half the field a lap down.
Hell yeah.
And ensured himself a strong finish. So we have Stenhouse having a career run. And I just want to give kudos for that fucking pit strategy. That was so cool to see them
What was
running
the
well.
thing about 2 tires? Or is that later?
That was the last stop. After that, he was dropping back a bit, and then there was another caution or whatever. They came through, and if you take 2 tires, your stop is only 4 seconds versus 9 or whatever
Right.
the fuck. So he only took 2, and he just leapfrogged the field again and put himself back in, I think, 2nd or 3rd or something
half
like
the
that.
tires, half the fucking time, right?
Yeah. So he just it's easier to pass guys when they're sitting still on pit road. That's what I would say. So just some brilliant calls from that JTG Doherty Motorsports, whatever that team's fucking called. Brilliant calls, and Ricky comes home with a fucking top 5. I was elated, and I'm a Blaney fan. Blaney wins this race. Spoiler alert. But I was more stoked about Ricky's 5th than Blaney's win, and I was happy that Blaney won too. It was a perfect. A lot of Sunday nights, I'm like not dejected, but I'm like, fuck, Hendrick won again or whatever.
Yeah.
But this was like, damn, one of my guys won, and one of my other guys who, an underdog, finishes in 5th. That's as good as a win to me.
That's
as
fucking
a Stenhouse
awesome,
fan,
man.
that is a win. Like that
Yeah.
is top 5 is like that's a really good week for anyone in the field. Like if you're not going to win, if you bring home a top 5, like that's like
I appreciate too that you like had completely forgotten about that P4 finish he had like that at Talladega too, because you were like, like you were telling me you were like pretty like staunch on like, like Stenhouse is doing good. He doesn't normally get top 5 finishes, like he's usually
I
on
guess
the top 20, like but like top 5 is like kind of rare for him. You don't see it too often. I was like, well, there was one that one that he like got really lucky in the last turn of the last lap at Talladega. He just fucking like shot the fucking gap while everybody was wrecking, and he fucking finished 4th, and I'm like,
there's other NASCAR shows that were like that was his first top 5 of the season, and the other guy would be like, no, he did finish 4th at Talladega. It's like, but Ricky Stenhouse is a super speedway specialist. It's like I expect him to do well at Talladega, but
Yeah.
I guess that was a long time ago as well. That was
Months,
week
yeah.
like 4 or whatever of the season. That wasn't very long ago, or that was not very recent. I mean to say, sorry. So I guess that I just completely forgot about that. This was the best I'd seen him run since then. I don't think he was running particularly well that day. I think that not win, but that top 5 was off attrition. That was just off surviving and making it to the end.
He got to the 8th spot, and I was freaking out to you because I'm like, holy shit, like I have money on him, but like, but I'm like, just even if he finishes that, like I think that's gonna be his best finish. It's like
incredible.
I was fucking snapping you and everything, and then like when he fucking crossed the finish line 4th, I'm like. I'm like, that's like, dude, calm down. It's auto racing. I'm like, first off, money. Second off, Stenhouse. That normally fucking wrecks.
We don't even have a real appreciation for how much he struggled over the years, because this is his 12th something season. He's only got 2 or 4 wins or something. It's a low count. So
he's like, I'm proud of him,
we've
man.
watched him for a year, and we get so fucking hyped. I can't imagine like a 10-year Stenhouse fan.
Dude,
this
is like their fucking season, man.
Only his 8th fucking top 5 ever. Like, I don't.
Congrats, though, Ricky.
This wasn't. Not that super speedways don't require skill, but Iowa is a skill track. It's a short track. It's a technical track. It's not super embanked. It's and this. Yes, they made good pit calls, but he had to hold on to that fucking thing with 130 old lap fucking tires, like old fucking beat to shit tires. He was keeping all 4 under him, and he was running strong. Like it wasn't one of these. Some guys back into top 5s or top 10s where it's just like the way the pit cycle worked out. At the end, there was a caution, and like Austin Dillon, people argue about his wins and his good finishes are usually just. They weren't that they were running strong. It's just that they caught a caution with 5 to go and ended up on the right side of the pit cycle.
I was gonna say
this was an earned top 5.
Yeah,
for Ricky.
I was gonna say Blaney. Like you made a point at one point that like whoever Blaney was bumping with, like into like I want to say like the last 8 laps.
Byron was catching.
William Byron. Okay, so like he he was like, you were just like, yeah, well, like that's like kind of an equipment issue at this point because Stenhouse's equipment's like slightly like slower than they're like top echelon like fastest cars on the fucking track with like fucking seasoned enough drivers to know how to use them and stuff. Something you said something to the effect of that. I'm like, like I'm glad Stenhouse is like holding his own, but like then there was like
Were you saying when they were under caution, the guy that bumped him, or
no. This was like in the like last 8 laps or something. You made a point that like they're like Blaney and I think William Byron were like Stenhouse was in third, and like William Byron and Blaney were like in front of him, and Stenhouse was kind of dipped down into fourth because he was like really fighting for that third position. And you're like, like now there's like these guys, they have like better equipment than Stenhouse, so like they're probably gonna finish like 1-2. But like he's fighting for third, and then sure enough, from fourth he fucking overtook into the turn and got third and battled back. And I'm like, damn, like, you know, even though he's like again, like he's the underdog here, I fucking respect it, man. Like he's still fucking podium. Well, not
I
podium
expected him to drop like a rock. Like,
Yeah.
I thought, and this is no diss to that team or that driver, but it's just
nature of the beast.
It's hard, man. That he's going against like powerhouse teams, like super uber rich Rick Hendrick, Roger Penske, fucking Joe Gibbs Racing, like, and he's a 1-car team. Like it's like the modern day like independent.
I like
you know
him.
what I mean?
Everything about him, from his name to his disposition, and like the fact he punched fucking Kyle Busch in the face. I love him for that. But no, like just in general, the fact that I bought that hat and then he started doing good is like I kind of feel personally responsible for fucking Stenhouse.
I'm invested.
I'm an investor. I got in at the fucking
I'm on the team.
12th floor. Yeah, basically, I'm a part owner.
But yeah, I was gladfully wrong that he didn't drop like a rock. He dropped to fourth, and then he put a big gap on Joey Logano in fifth. And like the whole time I'm watching the race, but they're showing like the leaders. They're not showing the Stenhouse Logano battle for the top 5 or whatever. Stenhouse Logano battle for that top 5 position or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
But you can see on the times, and it's like the whole time Ricky had like a 1 second, like he was in no danger. Like the gap wasn't closing at all. Like he just put a straightaway on the people behind him and was just literally smooth sailing all the way home to that top 5 finish. That was fucking awesome. And then Blaney brings home, which they kept showing us. That was my one complaint about it.
The burnout, because you said the thing about like they don't want to ruin the equipment or
not that.
overwork the equipment or something.
No, NBC kept showing his family. His mom's from Iowa. They had 80 relatives there, and they're all wearing matching shirts or something, and they just kept showing.
Gay.
I'm fine with them showing it like once or twice, but they just kept showing the Blaney fan section the whole time, and then like when he won, they kept panning back to and like I get it. Like I get why, but they overdid it slightly. But NBC was lights out.
Well, can I actually like touch on that real quick, just because I have noticed an uptick in a lot of sports feeds like doing that, and like MLB I would say is almost as bad as the NFL. NFL is the worst because of Taylor Swift this year.
I feel like there's a lot of downtime where they have to.
There is,
cut away
and like there is, but this year specifically, there's so much going on with like rule changes and shit where like they're finally starting to smooth out like the challenges, and like there's like less balks like compared to last year with the pitch clock and everything. So like things are starting to like even out, and like they wanted to make the games faster because it is visually more appealing to watch it, like, you know, on TV when you have a game that goes just like 3 times as fast as a usual baseball game. But like,
yeah, how long's the runtime now?
It's like 2.5 hours.
That's
like that.
perfect.
Yeah, and like they're not usually like, if there is like a really good like let's say you get like 6 innings of a pitcher's duel like we did last night, and then the relief pitchers just kind of fall apart, you're gonna want to watch that last like 3, 2.5 innings or whatever, because that's where like the real interesting shit. I know that like you said with NASCAR, a lot of people like tune in for like the first 20 laps and like the last 20 laps, or like that's kind of like the casual.
There is kind of a point where like I try to watch intently the whole time, but if a cup race is 3.5 hours, there is kind of points where I
you space
ADHD
out,
zone out and shit. Where
put it on mute, go on
2.5
TikTok.
is like perfect.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
So like the NFL with Taylor Swift, like last year specifically, it has been like the fan aspect.
It legit
of,
had like
of
the T Swift cam. Like anytime a play happened, they're like, "What's Taylor think about that?"
And
like,
anytime like Travis Kelce was on screen, it was like, you know that they're gonna send it to fucking Swift, and it's like she's just gonna be doing some fucking dumb dance and hanging out with a fucking
jumping
minority.
up and down with fucking Doja Cat.
Ice Spice. Dyke Spice. I don't know what the fuck. I did not know that she was really not a Spice Girl, to be completely honest.
Really?
Yeah, James had to explain that to me. I felt like a fucking retard.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Also, did you ever hear the thing about why Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce?
Isn't she a Soros plant and he's a Pfizer boy?
Well, I actually don't know about that. That's an interesting one.
He's
We could.
sponsored by Pfizer and he's in a bunch of Pfizer ads for the Kovacs.
That makes sense.
And
But
she is as well, and she's like all her catalog's owned by George Soros or some shit now. Like, yeah,
shit. Okay, I did
she
not
sold
know
her
that.
whole catalog for like $300 million or something.
So she did like the Michael Jackson thing and just like sold
A bunch
it
of people are.
yeah.
Lil Wayne actually sold in the entirety of Young Money's catalog, so the Drake, the Nicki Minaj, all of the people, including himself, for $100 million.
Wow.
And people were skeptical about that. And he spent too much of his money on pizzas.
And fucking
He had to sell his-
Duncan White kids in the pool by the
He had to sell
ankles.
his catalog.
No, the theory is that, well, not the theory. I guess like Adam Friedland, who was on Your Mom's House, and he was talking about that episode of the Adam Friedland show with Matt Healy. And at the time they recorded that,
Who's Matt Healy?
Matt Healy is the guy. He's a British dude that I guess Adam knows. Like he's like a super fan, but like Adam knew him from like school or something. And he was dating Taylor Swift when he came on Cumtown, or the Adam Friedland show. And Nick made a joke about how Ice Spice sounds like a native, like an Inuit fucking Spice Girl, and it's like, what kind of accent would you do for that? So then they started trying to figure out it's like an Asian.
I don't know what an Inuit has.
Yeah, it's like an Indian accent or like an Asian accent or like a Russian accent. So they just start trying all the
You
accents.
thought I was feeling you?
You thought I was.
That nigga a munch.
So Matt Healy ends up breaking up with Taylor Swift like immediately after that episode, and then Taylor Swift starts going on tour with Ice Spice out of nowhere, and like nothing really happened. Just a lot of the fans of the 1977, which is Matt Healy's band, started like kind of resenting him and thinking he was like an asshole because of his appearance on Cubtown. But like, I didn't know this, that like Taylor Swift specifically broke up with Matt Healy because he was on Cubtown and he made fun of Ice Spice, and there was like some record company like synergy move where apparently Ice Spice and Taylor Swift were supposed to like collab at some point, and like he completely like fucked that up, and she was like, I like, for not only personal distasteful reasons, like now I have to break up with you, but like my corporate overlords are making me break up with you too.
Damn.
And it wasn't like ever really outright said, but you can kind of like piece it together, because it's like, okay, she left Matt Healy and then all of a sudden Ice Spice is on her tour for like 6 shows, and that's like a big deal for Taylor Swift. Like she doesn't normally have like cameos unless they're like very planned, you know? So it's like, oh, he fucked with a business decision right there. And now she's dating Jason or Travis Kelce, and it makes even more sense, you know?
It's very
Pfizer,
gay.
Investigate the gay frogs
But
that play for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I can't stand, especially in racing, where you're watching hours of, you know, it's not always action packed, and then it's boiling down to these last 10 or 5 laps where these two guys are battling for the lead. And I complained about it last week where Fox cut away to like 2 10-year-old fans
Screaming.
and
or
it's like
something.
these guys are neck and neck going into the corner, and they cut away to like 2 10-year-olds cheering for 10 seconds. It's just like, that's like
Show me the
unforgivable.
fucking cars.
That's unforgivable. Like, that's just not why. Like, who fucking thought? I don't know. I'm fine when there's some downtime. You cut to a fan or something. I don't hate cutaways and stuff. It's just like, why are you doing it in like the most important moment of the race? Like,
Yeah.
This is like 3 hours I've been watching for this moment, and you're gonna cut away. Like, it's just god awful sometimes with Fox.
Have you ever seen Talladega Nights, where like the part at the very end when Ricky Bobby and fucking Ali G fucking flip their cars, and their cars are like flipping over and over again? It's like, and now we're gonna cut to a commercial break. It just goes, doctor, give me the new. That's the old Whopper. That was the old one, the Applebee's.
Bag boys.
What you gonna do?
I fucking can't stand it. But I don't watch other sports as often. But I don't remember it being an issue with hockey, because and I guess really with stick and ball sports, like
Stick 'em ball.
while the game's going on, they're really not able to cut away. So why do they do it during racing? Like, I don't know.
They were showing at the Phillies game the other day some kid that was eating ice cream a little too sloppily, and they kept like every pitch, they would be like, they go to the pitch and then like
Back to
just
him.
back to the
Baseball
kid
does
eating.
that a lot.
And it's like, I like that. That's pretty funny. There was the one where I think it was like the Oakland Athletics. Or it was like a West Coast team, like either like the Oakland Athletics or like maybe like the A's or they're the fucking Padres or something like that. There was like these like 7 girls in the outfield, and they were just straight up not paying attention to the game. They were all taking selfies, and they just would go like,
They love
pitch.
cutting to that.
And then like just the commentators like, they don't even know where the fuck they are right now. They're just hanging out, like taking pictures. Like they don't care that they're at a baseball game. Like
Yeah, that always grinds the boomer commentators' gears. Like,
just pay attention.
they're on their phones again.
Balls are in fucking play. I don't know. Do the boomer commentators in NASCAR get mad at like people getting a little too fucking like social media-y, like with like walking around the pits with cameras or like
No.
not real? Okay,
It's such a
good.
marketing sport.
See, that's I kind of get that aspect of it. I thought it would be very irritating because it does kind of seem like a very like back in my day sport, but like also everything has marketing plastered all over it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
they
don't-
kind of need
they
the
don't-
social media presence.
Yeah, I don't remember that really being like a commentary. I don't know.
Because that would irritate me. Like I'm
Baseball,
trying to stay.
I know what you're talking about. Where
Yeah.
the announcers are like, they're not even paying attention. Here's the pitch. 3-2 count.
That lady that got her beer knocked off the fucking thing, like they had their beers up against the backstop and someone fouled it, and they were the commentators were like, it's gonna happen before the 60th pitch that beer is gonna go flying. Some dude fouled the ball off and it just boom, homing missile just fucking hits
We
the
used-
beer.
We used to do that at the Bullies games because, and even at Flyers games, when you sit at Tyler seats, where the people in the front row always think that that's a good place to put their fucking beers.
Nope.
And like one check, one hit, in
One
that
well
corner,
fucking placed shot, it's going flying.
usually it would be someone getting hit and just 3 beers come all over these people. And we sat second row at the Bullies, and like Timmy's parents would like try to warn people, and like sometimes he'd be like, "Oh, thanks," like because those boards at the Bullies, they weren't even like glass. It was like this plexiglass shit that would, like plexiglass, whatever the fuck. It would like bend. Like it would have some real. You could get them when we would start rocking the glass and shit. So yeah, the guys would hit each other, and like this thing would really bow out, and like the beers would immediately.
Just
Like,
go
it didn't
spilling.
take much. It didn't even have to be a big hit. Like one bump by the blue line, like the beers were gone. And like some people would be like, "Fuck you," and then like
boom.
before the first period was even over, like 2 shifts in, they're just covered in beer, and we're like, tried to
Try
fucking
to tell you, buddy.
But I just want to plow through the rest of my NASCAR
Yeah,
notes here.
do it.
It's just Ricky Stenhouse career run. Blaney holds off Byron, leading the most laps of his career, 201 laps out of 350.
Nice.
Larson gets wrecked out by Suarez, and there was some interesting commentary. They played Suarez's radio, and he couldn't hold his line. He got loose, and he just washed up into Larson. Larson maybe could have been a little more patient and not shoved it 3 wide, but it was 1,000% Suarez's fault. And he's just on his radio. He's like, I don't think that was my fault. And then his crew chief was just like, yeah, man, I don't know why he went 3 wide there. Like, that's what happened when you go 3 wide. And, like, it was just like, in the moment, I was like, all right, fair. Like, it kind of swayed me in the moment. But then after hearing all of the professional, like, recap
Analysis,
on that, they're
yeah.
like, that was so cringeworthy. Like, that was 1,000% your fault. And now you're on national TV being like, yeah, why did he race me? Like, it's just, he literally just couldn't hold his lane, got loose, and just smashed into him. Ended Larson's day. He might have been able to come back out and finish, but I think he was like minus 40 laps or something like that.
Damn.
Kyle Busch, 2 weeks in a row. I'm pulling for the guy. He was set to have a top 5 or a top 10. He was running well, and he got involved in someone else's mess where some wreck I forget the specifics, some wreck just fell into his fucking lap. Wasn't even his fault, and wasn't able to finish the race. That sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
So
that's all. That I already talked about all the other ones. Stenhouse brings home a P5, and great race in Iowa. Rated an 8 out of 10. That was Iowa's first Cup race. Like I said,
I
so.
gotta say, like, I didn't watch the whole race, and you didn't even watch it live. You were watching the recap in the old shed, giving me the updates, and
I
I was like,
DVR every
I
week
was
now.
literally fucking like, it was a nail biter. Fucking the last 10 laps that you sent me, I was glued to my phone
Yeah, it was
watching that
good.
shit.
It was
Yeah.
good show. That's like you said, how baseball kind of winded it down. And I know people don't want Dale Jr. Made the analogy like the argument is like, should races be shorter so it's not 3.5 or 4 hours long? And Dale Jr. is a traditionalist, and he's like, if I want a candy bar, I want the full fucking candy bar. Like, don't take away 25% of my candy bar. Like, if I'm a race fan, I want to watch 400 miles, 500. Like, they used to all be 500. Now a lot of them dropped to 400. He's like, I don't want to see 300-mile Cup races. But, like, it is fucking long. Like I watch them from start to finish, and like I went out in my shed at 9, and like it was like 12:30 or something by the time I finished. Like it's a long commitment to watch a full race. It's like, I don't know. The Saturday races, if the Cup's running 400, they're running 250 miles. It's like it's a 2.5 hour show. Like it's like chef's kiss. It's the perfect length of time.
I was gonna say I like that accessibility too, where it's like I have Fubo, so I can watch the Arca series and then like the Xfinity series and stuff, which I can't believe I remembered both of those. Which like I'm fucking proud of myself. I'm turning into a real little NASCAR fan, aren't I? But yeah.
If you're watching the minors in NASCAR, you're a real race fan.
Yeah,
Like,
but like you did mention before that they have like shorter races and like the trucks.
Arca's was 150 this week.
Well, you said
that was like an hour and a half.
You said
the
the trucks are usually a lot looser and there's a lot more wrecks, and you say it's frustrating, but I'm like, that's kind of what I want to see though. Like I like the bumping and the bruising.
It's great, but when there's 10 cautions in a row and you spend an hour under caution and 10 minutes racing, like that's the problem, especially when you're watching it live. That's why I love watching DVR. I skip the commercials and then like I watch a little bit of the coverage.
Whopper.
Skip those. I watch a little bit of the coverage between wrecks, but I'll fast forward right to the fucking green flag, like because it'll legit be 10 plus minutes of downtime of them cleaning up the track or whatnot, and like I love a good wreck as much as anyone, but the trucks sometimes it's just like wreck, 10-minute delay for the cleanup. All right, we're back racing. The first corner, half the field fucking wrecks again. All right. 15 minutes of cleanup. All right, we're going back racing. The championship of the trucks last year was legit like 16 restarts.
Jesus Christ!
It was like, and people were like pissed. Like they're like, this is making us look like a laughing stock. Like this is a mockery of auto racing. But yeah, it's just the fucking downtime that's annoying to me. I love the fucking beating and banging, but let's
let's fucking
don't throw the caution. Just let them keep.
Just let them keep going. That's now an obstacle.
Yeah,
we call this landmine racing. Actually, that would be
people
cool.
Die. That's why they do that.
Just turn it into twisted metal. Like you can drop like fucking like the fucking star spikes and like fucking oil slicks and
pick up a grandmom at the airport or whatever that one level.
You turn it into Mario Kart. You throw banana peels and fucking you eat mushrooms and then drive for like 200 miles per hour. Yeah, you know.
That's what we should. That's what our go-kart track should be themed.
What, Mario Kart?
Mario Kart. Have the Toad Kart, the Bowser Kart.
I'll send it to you when we get back inside and I fire up the computer. But there is this GIF of this Chinese guy dressed like Mario driving a go-kart in traffic, and he's throwing bananas at a cop car that's following him.
I've seen that.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, that closes out my NASCAR notes.
What else? You got any other notes for Life and Jen?
The Drop the Green podcast. That's my small-time podcast of the week.
Okay.
I think I only have 28 subs, but they just your standard NASCAR coverage show, and I listened to the whole thing front to back. It was like an hour long. It was a well done show. So shout out to the Drop the Green podcast.
I was gonna say it sounds like it could either be a racing podcast or some kind of like marijuana sobriety podcast.
It's both.
I was like, what's he listening? What's he doing over there?
NASCAR bros, but I went into it like this is probably gonna suck like all the small like that one, the Over the Hill podcast or whatever. Like,
yeah.
It's like us. It's like this is gonna be fucking garbage, but you know, what I mean?
Who cares?
It was good. I liked it. Pleasantly surprised. I'm reading a book about JD McDuffie. I think I talked about it on
showed me his shirt. Yeah, you said he was like the last independent racer.
I think I talked about that last week. Flat track racing. It's motorcycle racing on a dirt track, and they run like basically like what looks like dirt bikes kind of, or like cafe racers or whatever, and it's that ones where they slide the corners but it's like flat, like they're just like drifting.
Got that weird like triangle wheel that hangs off the side too, so they can really like keep it upright while they're in the drift, right?
No, I think these are just straight up motorcycles.
Bikes? Okay.
Yeah, I mean maybe didn't notice that, but they're coming to Bridgeport Speedway June 22nd, and I really want to go check that out. That's in 3 days. I'm definitely not gonna be able to go check that out.
Do it, baby.
I wanted to go last year too. That's flat track racing is fucking gnarly. It's not even in like the lexicon of like, you know, drag racing, NASCAR, IndyCar. Like it doesn't get its shine that it deserves, because these guys are booking like 130 into a corner and then drifting a motorcycle. You've ridden my Baja around the backyard. I've fucking slid a motorcycle at 20 miles an hour. It's scary. Like
it is pretty scary.
The amount of skill that these guys possess is just, and balls. Like,
balls.
Pure fucking balls is just, like I said, I don't want to die racing. Like I want to just do like go-kart racing. I especially don't want to race motorcycles. Like it's not the same as wrecking a car. You're not in a cage. Like when you wreck, like you wreck. Like there's some guy running into your leg. Like,
yes.
You know what I mean? Like That's just brass fucking balls to do that.
You want to know one that it actually, I guess it's just because I have been seeing a lot of them on reels, but there's those dudes that do, it's both like competitive stunt and then like competitive race jet skis. I am not like really into it. I'm not a fan of jet skis. I've ridden jet skis once and I did not like it particularly.
They're fun.
I do not like it. It is not for me. That's just it. I don't like it either because you think it's going to be soft, but then you get going and you actually throw yourself the first time where you're going pretty fast and you're like, ow, that kind of hurts. It feels like you're hitting.
They're a huge concussion causer.
Yeah,
like people who ride jet skis a lot are like guaranteed CTE. Like,
yeah,
it's just like every single.
Yeah.
It reads like if you wear the concussion mouthpiece or whatever that measures the G forces or whatever to your brain, like jet skis are like really bad.
Yeah, they so I had like
they're fun.
Well, that's just it. It's like you like being like open and going fast and whatnot. Where it's like it wasn't my cup of tea, and like I had nothing but open ocean, and I'm like I don't like this at all. I don't like being.
No, I would feel a little creeped out.
Completely like isolated, but like you're exposed at the same time, and it's like what if like.
That's how I feel when I get pretty far out in the woods.
Yeah.
What if something breaks and I'm like, it's worse in the water though. It's like I'm gonna drown. I mean, I guess or get eaten by a shark.
Yeah, shark was my big one. And then like they make you jump off and swim to it, and I'm like, nah, I don't want anything to do with this. It's like that would be like me having to like wade through water to get to my car every time, and I'm like, no,
I don't plan on falling off.
Yeah, like this is not what I envisioned in my head. And then, but like there's this dude who does like stunt and he does like competitive racing jet skis, but he was explaining the fuel mixture. To get the jet ski to throw itself, I guess, or like what, like to get the certain kind of jet ski, you have to use like ethanol, fucking gasoline mixture because it needs to like have a certain amount of like low pressure and high pressure mixed together for it to like really get that like thrust when you rev or something like that. It really needs to like really fucking send it. And he was explaining that
very scientific.
I really had no
Aaron's
idea.
probably pulling his hair out right now.
He's like, that's not even fucking.
It gives it the old brap.
Yeah, the old brand. Aaron,
is it like a two-stroke you're talking about?
No,
it's
it's
like oil and gas.
Yeah, it might be like oil and gas mixture. But he was like talking about how he has to like mix a certain amount of it so that you can really get pop out of the waves because he throws it and like does like flips and shit. And he's like, yeah, if you just put regular unleaded gasoline in it, it won't fucking have the same oomph. And I'm like, yeah, that's interesting. Not my fucking cup of tea, but I do find that to be neat. Like, I would work on them. I wouldn't necessarily ride them, much like a motorcycle. I'd enjoy tinkering with a motorcycle more than I would enjoy like riding it, to be completely honest.
You on like a closed course?
Well, like a closed course, yeah. Like it's like on the road scares the shit out of me because I know how bad of a driver I am. Everybody's texting, like that, it just freaks me out. I don't know why. I'm sorry I'm doing this. You rode a motorcycle here.
No, I was just gathering my thoughts and trying to not interrupt. I just fucking
whopper.
I rebooted, but I was trying to find. Not that I feel safer on a bike, because it is always in the back of your mind. Like anytime you throw your leg over a bike, you're like, I could die doing this, but. You just feel more in control than in a car, if that makes any sense.
Not like really to me, but yeah, like I get it.
You're more nimble. You can kind of ride more aggressively and get away from the bullshit if need be. I don't know if that like.
Yeah, that does make sense.
I'm more err on the side of caution, but it's just like you're faster than most cars around you. Like yeah, if I'm next to like a Beamer or something, I'm fucked. But like most. Like a fucking Kia or something. I can just pull away from the you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's definitely dangerous, and I definitely see why people. We have buddies, Stu and Westy, and one are looking at motorcycles and want to buy Harleys and stuff, and it's like, not like I'm all for it. Like have fun, but like I'm also like a parent where I'm like, that's pretty dangerous. Like, just, like do as I say, not as I do. Or whatever. It's just like. I don't really recommend like go buy a bike and go play in traffic, like especially for someone who like you who isn't like these guys rode dirt bikes and stuff, so it's like it's not.
I'm a weekend war. I'm Louis C.K. when he buys the motorcycle and then immediately crashes it, and I'm just gonna be in a fucking SpongeBob karate head brace for like a week.
It's not something you should do if you're not comfortable on a bike. Like I think the only reason I took to it so well is because I had thousands of hours on my dirt bike as a kid, so it's like it didn't feel. Then I had thousands of hours on that China bike farting around town and stuff. So it wasn't I kind of took the right steps up the ladder where I think you should get a dirt bike first and fart around in the woods before you go out in traffic. You have to be very confident in your riding abilities to go out on the road, but
I am not.
you're more vulnerable as far as like getting hit by someone, or like if shit does go wrong, you're gonna fly off a fucking bike. But like,
Yeah.
it's I don't know.
You want to hear
It
where
doesn't feel like
well,
like as confident as you are like driving, like that's how it's just like I don't know. It's not. It's just follow the rules of the road type shit. Like it's not.
Well,
I
that-
rode up to Collingswood and back yesterday on the bike. I rode like 150 miles yesterday.
Hell
And,
yeah.
like it was just
fun.
yeah, it was just fun. Like,
I was gonna say it's like also not like a Need for Speed thing too, because I was gonna say it's a little hypocritical of me to be like, yeah, that thing goes too fast. I was more referencing the jet ski than it was that, because one of my favorite things to do is just bomb a hill when I'm on a snowboard. I can go as fast as I fucking can. I've gotten like really fucking fast on a snowboard to the point where even I'm like, yeah,
that would
little,
freak me out because I'm just
little-
not well versed in it.
Yeah, and I'm like, most people don't think they don't enjoy looking over the side of a
No.
literal fucking mountain, and it's like, no, my dick is hard. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, let's fucking do it. What, back one fucking nose grab? Hell yeah, we're gonna do it. Going fucking switch? Fuck yeah, dude. Like everybody's like, you're out of your fucking mind. There's this bowl called the Jupiter Bowl that Tyler and I shredded. I think I've talked about this on. There's me, James, Paul, James's brother, and Tyler, and we were all out in Utah, and they opened they pulled ropes on the fucking Jupiter Bowl the one day, and it was like us four, and we're like, well, we've never really ridden a bowl before. You guys want to do it? 10-foot sheer drop into the bowl, and you are at the top of the mountain. Like you look to your left, and it's like where that tree is right there is the top of the mountain. That is the peak, and you are like 11,000 feet above everything else, and you're just
It's like a bowl, like a skate bowl.
no, like it's like one of the faces of the mountain. So like a mountain is kind of like this, and there's like, you know, peaks and valleys that you can kind of like jump in and out of. So one of them on this particular mountain on Park City Mountain Resort is called the Jupiter Bowl, where it's like a long flat like edge top to the mountain, and at a certain point the drop, it doesn't become so sheer, so you can like just ride your board and kind of like hop in and then ride straight down the face of the mountain into like a part where it takes you to trails and whatnot. But it is like, you know, it's off trail things, and if you fuck up and you go flying and like knock yourself out or like cause an avalanche or something, you're dead. Like, you know, no refunds on that. Like you're pretty much like fucked. And you
Sign this waiver right here.
no. Like they literally have a thing where it's like if you cross this line, you are on your own, no liability, like zero liability. It's like if you are going beyond this, there's that rock I have.
Catch me at the Bunny Hill, dog.
There's that rock I have inside that almost killed Kasach, and that one I brought home because I drove out with Mark, and Kasach went skiing in Utah, and we went off trail. Same thing. It wasn't a bowl, but it was like they pulled a rope or something like that. I had Tyler on skis, so I was like, "Yo, Kasach, set the trail," and I'm on my toes, looking back over my shoulder. The Kasach drops in, he sets the trail, so we know basically that nothing's gonna move, like none of the snow's gonna move. And while I'm on my brakes, something like ka-chunks under my board, and I'm like, fuck, was that like a snow drift? But it ended up being just a rock. But the rock is like about like yay fucking big, and it is a pretty fucking steep drop that Tyler just like is skiing down. So it's like, Kasach, pick a pipe, and like he goes to the one side, and this rock just goes like probably like 40-50 miles per hour down the hill, like right past him. If it would have hit him, it would have killed him. Like it would have put a hole in him. Like I'm not even kidding. It was like
What
a
does
can.
pick a pipe mean?
Pick a side of the, like, because you got like the center, which is
What
like
if
nice.
you picked the wrong side?
It was going right down the rock was the rock
Some
wasn't.
Indiana Jones shit.
Yeah, it was like, but it was like big, man. It was like I still have it. I'll
Damn.
show it to you. It's like the size of a cannonball. Yeah, it's not fucking like a small rock. If that would have hit him, he would have been dead. Like no questions asked.
People, it's so common where people go out to the like even like the Poconos in the winter and they come home with a broken arm or something like that.
The Ice Coast is a different beast because it's A, overcrowded, and B, really shitty snow.
But even like Ari Shafir went out to like Colorado or something and had like a broken arm for like
Yeah.
his tour or whatever the fuck.
Well,
like it's
Mark dislocated his shoulder.
Chase Elliott broke his fucking leg skiing.
Who's Chase
And
Elliott?
He's the most popular driver in NASCAR. One of Hendrick.
Gotcha.
He's Bill Elliott's son. Bill Elliott was a popular driver back
I
in
thought
the day.
this was someone we went to school with.
No,
I'm an idiot.
but it was a big deal last year because he had to miss 9 races because he broke his leg fucking skiing or snowboarding or
Damn,
something like
dude.
that. And he wasn't doing anything gnarly. It was just like a freak thing where he like fucking sat down wrong or something, like popped. Like
I watched a kid take a jump one time, and he was just a little itty bit too much on his heel edge when he launched, and his board, like normally you're supposed to hit it as flat as possible and lean back so that way both downward motion of the mountain mixed with gravity and everything. It just kind of like floop, and you go. This guy was on his heel edge, and the board went out like that. And if you go and it's like you're over top of it, you can kind of like tuck your knees and still land on the board. This guy just went basically ass over tea kettle and landed on his head and knocked himself out.
Fuck.
About like a 15 to 17 foot drop directly on his noggin. And he's wearing a helmet. He just knocked himself clean out. And I'm like,
Yeah, helmet.
yeah, man, no Bucky's gonna prevent that like
Yeah.
from happening. That's a pretty rough one. I watched it too. It wasn't like it was like a video. It wasn't this guy. It was like two in front of me to drop into the fucking thing, and then like ski patrol was there. They had to call a helicopter. You know,
The gnarliest one, then obviously wasn't there, but it was one of my buddies. He's a big snowboarding dude. He goes like
Shaun
every year.
White.
No, it's this kid Nick. I can't even remember his last name off the top of my head. It's just like he was like a friend of my friend Matt, who I like hung out and smoked with a handful of times. But,
Cool.
I saw him. We like hung out and chilled after his injury. So he's like a big snowboarding dude. Was like going up to doing the t-shirt sesh in like May or whatever, the last thing before
Gaper
they shut
Day,
down.
yeah.
Yeah, he's like from like start to finish. He's going up there like every weekend. Like was just a gamer. He loved it, and I think he still snowboards. But he hit some jump and he fucked up, and he landed like a 20-foot drop on his side. And he just thought he cracked some ribs. He went to like the nurse's station.
This is a kid that was pissing blood, and dude, that's fucking the most gnarly thing
So
I've heard.
he goes. He could have died. He goes to the nurse's station. They're like, you probably bruised your ribs, cracked your ribs. Like, just go home. And like he has to wait for like hours for his ride or something. He's there for much longer than he should be. He doesn't go right to a hospital. He just goes home. He fills up the bowl with pee before he hops in the shower, and he's like, "That's weird." And then he just collapses, and his brother finds him on the floor like 15 minutes later, like with the shower running. He's just bowl full of blood. Kid's just passed out on the floor. He's only like 20, 21, young dude. They rushed him to the hospital. He had ruptured his spleen and had been bleeding internally all day. And had he not come
Jesus
within
Christ.
like an hour or two or whatever,
He
like,
probably would have died.
no, he would have died.
Damn.
Like he should have died. Like
Shit, dude.
yeah. So
He cheated death.
yeah, and like had his brother not been home, it was one of those weird things where like his brother came home early from work or called out from work or something. Like all these things had to line up. Like,
Yeah.
Where, yeah, he makes it sure they remove his spleen and patch him up, and he has to be on like a low dose of antibiotics for the rest of his life because your
Damn.
spleen is like your immune system, so he
Yeah.
has to be like real careful around getting sick and whatnot. And he's still a big time snowboarder, still getting after it, but that sucks, man.
Yeah, no, that's like I haven't heard like that. That was the most gnarly story. I told the story on here about James like face planting, and he knocked himself out because he face planted on ice, and half his face was torn up and swollen. And it's like half his face looked normal, and the other half it looked like somebody had like
Stands up. How do I look? Everyone's like,
he did not stand up. He thought he died and was like coming to in the hospital like on morphine or something like that. And he thought like he was
they
dead.
stretched him out like he was
he
unconscious.
was out. He was going like 60 miles per hour or something like that. Hit ice, and it was like it happened so rapidly that it was like his head like the same way like you like launch a fishing pole. It was like his torso just like slammed, and his face took all of the impact and then dragged, and it was like all that jostling like
Fuck.
knocked him out. And it was like one part of his face was normal, the other half of his face was like swollen and like bloody and like bruised, and it was disgusting. But yeah, he still snowboards at that clip, still goes fast. Shout out James, he's a good fucking boarder, but like shit like that
it's in
freaks
the back,
me out, man.
Like
Yeah.
you said, wrecked at 60 miles an hour. Like it's in the back of my mind every time I ride. I don't want to be like before. I want to walk back what I was saying before. Like, oh, well, you feel safe. Like that's like when shit happens when you get a little too comfortable. No, I'm like a little nervous every time I ride, and like that's good.
Did you see the video of all those Mexican people that fell to their deaths on the fucking the club terrace like 2 weeks ago?
No, what I was gonna say is I think
Oh.
I got my wreck out of the way. Like I crashed the Hawk in the game preserve doing like 40 miles an hour, and that was like extremely humbling. So I don't know what I'm driving at, but
A motorcycle.
fucking danger. I am danger, dude.
No, like there's like this like nightclub in Mexico somewhere. There's all these like fat Mexican people up on the terrace, and I guess they were like leaning or something. I don't fucking know. They don't show them actually falling. All they show is them like a bunch of glass falling to the ground, and then like 30 people like falling on top of each other. And yeah, like 4 or 5 of them died. But like now I've been like, I used to be the guy that was like, oh, you want to go look over the side of the parking garage at the casino, or like you want to like look over the side of the escalator at Ocean while you're going up that big one. I'm right now kind of like at a point in my life where I'm like, I'm good. I'm just gonna take you to the stairs or the elevator. Like I don't need to deal with that right now. I'm kind of turned a corner on that.
On what, elevator?
Well, just more like that. I'm afraid there's like a massive thing. Boeing, like the guy that like died, the whistleblower for Boeing that like got shot in the back of the head or whatever, or committed suicide or like whatever. That like between me getting kidnapped by Frontier Airlines, that. And then like all of these like things where it's like competency crisis, like this, the fucking bridges getting run into, the trains derailing and stuff like that. I'm like very nervous that like maybe we are hitting critical mass for like society being a little bit too like laissez-faire with certain standards and practices. And I'm not necessarily like, I'm not paranoid that like something bad's gonna happen just because you see shit on the news like that, but I am starting to see that like there are some cracks forming in the system where people aren't taking their jobs as seriously as ever. You know, like the COVID crisis was like really what I think the catalyst was for it, where people just are like, I'm gonna do the minimum to get my job done, and like they're like
work from home.
Yeah, and it's like the people that build bridges and casinos and parking garages and stuff, those are still people that are probably like some part of their department is working from home. There's massive oversight in their job and their industry, and it scares me. It's like one of those genuine fears of mine that like I don't know who's having a bad day at the airport. And
even with like surgeons,
yeah,
this
that
guy
too.
Ty went on last night. Is he fucking hungover today? Like doing my fucking tonsil removal or you know what I mean?
Yeah, well the fucking
humans.
The goddamn that Vanguard channel had the OxyContin Express documentary, and they were showing an extension, like there was like the same chick that made the OxyContin Express movie made this documentary about all these doctors in Florida that get people to buy crack for them, and it's like a whole industry of like the similar to Uber Eats. The doctors will treat patients pro bono. Like let's say you're a homeless guy and you have like gangrene or like a stomach or a kidney problem, or like you have something wrong with you and you don't have the money to get insurance, and like what you need requires some kind of specialist. A doctor will take you under his wing and be like, hey, you know, you seem like you're down on your luck. Do you know where I could get some like blow or some like heroin or whatever? The guy would be like, yeah, I got you. So they do the work off the books under the table for free for this guy, and then they'll pick him up, take him to the hood, kind of turn him loose with some cash, and he comes back, they grease his palms with whatever he wants. But like, yeah, like there's a ton of Miami doctors that got popped in this documentary for paying people to buy them crack and then smoking crack on the fucking job while they're practicing medicine.
Fuck.
They're
That's
like you said,
wild.
they're human. You can't knock them. I worked drunk for years I was cooking food hammered.
I've
for
never
years.
not worked stoned.
Yeah, like
I'm working stoned right now.
exactly. And like it's just like fuck. Like it kind of weighs this like, well, I want people to be humans. I want them to be themselves, and I want them to also like, you know, do their job. But like,
We're not going to defend crack smoking.
yeah, crack smoking doctors especially.
If a doctor fucking had a vape pen in his car before he came in and gave me some fucking cold medicine, like whatever, I'm not going to fucking hold it against the guy. But if he's taking fucking
my neurosurgeon shoving gold into my face, and they're like, I'm gonna fucking light one up. I'm gonna give myself some bright ideas.
yeah, no,
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
no chore boys.
Yes, not chore boy.
This is kind of, I don't want to go into this.
Okay, what the
Say like, what's the hardest drug you've done?
Yeah, that's a good one. Fentanyl.
I've never done like crack, meth, heroin, like any of the
Never intentionally. Most of the time, I have. I did fentanyl for
done
the
perks.
like the doctor put me on fentanyl for my first surgery for my eye, and that was enough for me to be like, I get why people like this, but I don't like this. It makes
That's
you
not doing drugs. That's medical.
But they like, you can hit the button and give yourself more. And I was
Yeah.
I was hitting the shit out of the button.
Hey T, they know this kid likes his chemistry shit a little too much. Chrissy fucking lighten up the button.
They disconnected that.
I had him disconnected an hour ago.
I watched the one where it's Paulie Walnuts shooting the guy in the fucking head. He's like, we told you 3 times, stop running your trucks through New Jersey. Doesn't matter if you're taking a Sunday drive out there. Well, this time the message is coming directly from me. Hey,
That's the fucking best.
that show fucking rules. I haven't watched anything good this week.
I got shout out to me for Father's Day. Shout out to all the dads out there.
Shout out to dads.
Tina got me a Satrial's cutting board, which is pretty fucking sweet. And
Nice.
then I had a Bada Bing sweatshirt, and then I like the graphics. It was one of those ones that's like screen printed or whatever.
So it like
on.
cracks a little
Yeah,
bit.
it was all fucked up after like a few years. So she got me a new Bada Bing t-shirt. So
Nice.
I was sporting that on Sunday to the function, the
Should've-
Father's Day function.
You should have gone to the Bada Bing for Father's Day.
I don't think it's open anymore.
Wasn't it like a restaurant for a little while?
No, it was still a strip club.
Oh, it was actually a strip club?
It was called like Vixens or something like that. And
Ah.
it said like on the sign, it was like
But the
host
Bada
of
Bing.
the Bada Bing, yeah. But no, I didn't go to the titty bar. I just ate some cheeseburgers and shit. It was
Same.
nice.
That's like the same thing.
Yeah. So I got some new Sopranos gear.
I didn't get anything for Father's Day.
You're not a father.
I'm not a father. I got yelled at for.
What'd you get Jay? How was Jay's Father's Day?
I was supposed to take him out to breakfast and I slept through it.
Why?
I
You're
just
normally
was
an
ti-
early riser.
I was tired. I was a sleepy
You're
boy. This
tuckered out?
weekend. Yeah, I was very tired.
Long
this
work
weekend.
shift?
Yeah, long work shift. Just running to and from Margate too much this week. Yeah, but no, like I didn't do anything for Father's Day except work. I worked the full day, so I don't know. I made the most of it.
Was it busy?
Very busy. That was the day that guy came in.
I was gonna ask
Yeah.
because he's a dad.
He was dad. He was at his dad's wit's end.
He's
Like,
probably been fucking cracking them since 10 a.m.
dude. We were all right. So here's
I
the
can't imagine. Okay, so sorry, but I can't imagine a situation of me acting like that with like restaurant workers.
I can't either.
even drunk.
I've
Even drunk.
I flipped out in Louisiana, and that was the most I lost my cool. But it was because some guy did a douchebag move and bought all the rooms at a hotel, like a roadside hotel, while I was the only other fucking person that I was like in line behind him. He's one person, and he bought he bought 17 rooms.
But you weren't freaking out on staff, were you?
No, I freaked out on him, but the
Yeah.
staff was like, "Sir, calm down." I told her to go fuck herself, and that her and her family are
Giving
retards for a
someone in
living.
the wild guff is one thing. That's fine. That's fair game. But as far as like staff,
So I was absolutely in the right. I was absolutely in the right here. This guy had a road crew, and it was after a hurricane hit in Louisiana, and it was when I was selling my trailer. So I had just signed the paperwork to fucking sell my trailer. I had no trailer in Louisiana anymore. They just had to cut me the check, and I couldn't do that until the acquisitions department opened up the next day at like 8 a.m. So I'm like, well, fuck. I don't have somewhere to stay now. What am I supposed to do? They're like, there's a couple roadside motels like all up and down the street. Just go find one. But there was like a hurricane, so every fucking hotel had road crews that were fixing the roads and the power lines, and like all the Esplod trucks and shit were there. So there was one that had like when I got down there, it was still closed from the hurricane for renovation. But then the day that I sold my trailer, I drove by it. It was like grand reopening. So I'm like, fuck, okay, if I need to fucking go somewhere, I know that that's like 2 or 3 miles away. I'm like, I got something close enough. Like, all right, we're in good shape. I get there, and there's like all the Esplod trucks out front. I'm like, fuck, I hope they still have rooms. I go in there, and there's just this fat, like, fucking retard in a wife beater with a fucking hard hat on, just like, yeah, well, we got about 30 people out there in the trucks. You think you could accommodate 30 people? And she's like, well, you can either get one per room and have a couple of people doubling up, or I could just give you 15 doubles. And he goes, well, how many singles can you give us? And she's like, well, we don't have that many singles. We have 17 rooms total right now. The guy goes, thanks, I'll take them all. And I'm like, motherfucker! And like, he was like, excuse me? And I'm like, dude, you just bought every fucking hotel room in this fucking place. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You don't think people are gonna get upset about that? He's like, calm down, son, don't worry. I was like, no, fuck you. And then the lady's like, no, for real, like, you're not getting a hotel room now. But I'm like, oh yeah, go fuck yourself too, you dumb
Yeah,
bitch.
fuck her
You and
then.
your dumb family live in this fucking retarded state. I'm trying to fucking get out of here. Fuck you. Fuck you. I hope you fucking electrocute yourself, and just walked out. And then slammed the door, which
Damn.
had one of those like little fucking like the stopper things, the little pneumatic things. So I tried to slam it, and it just yep. Super embarrassing.
Tinkle, tinkle, a little bell.
Yeah, luckily I went back out to the hotel I ended up staying at. They kept giving other people the key to my room, and there was a time I was tugging it, and some couple walked in. I'm just like naked on my back.
That's like the Shane Gillis story where the male janitor just walked in and like stared at him while he was jerking off. And Shane didn't even stop, and he just got annoyed, and he's like, what are you doing?
bro. Can I
And he like
help you?
came back in, and he was like, what the fuck?
Housekeeping.
Yeah. I have a pretty. I'm usually. I don't know. I only get mad at like pretty specific things. Restaurants is like, I don't know. Like I've worked in a restaurant. It's not.
It's not fun.
I was a dishwasher and a busboy. Like I just, not that I empathize with restaurant staff and like I will get annoyed and only tip 20%, but like
Still tipping.
yeah, like but I've never like screamed even if they get my food like completely wrong. Like I might say something, but I'm like, hey, like, and I usually won't. Like Tina will be the one to do it for me, but like I'll just eat it. I don't know. Like I'm just
Yeah, like I'm not.
and it's maybe if I was spending $60 a plate, I might be a little more inclined to complain or something. But like, at like fucking Applebee's, it's just like this isn't like the end of the world if my burger's a little over undercooked. Like it's just like I don't know. I'm not too particular, and
I'd rather not
never
deal with
like
the fucking,
be like that guy. Like I don't know. And even if I did, like I've complained, they forgot. Like I paid. Me and Tina each got churros for dessert at the Mexican place in Summers Point, and like
make it a churro.
They forgot them, and like. Tuckahoe to Summers Point, like I'm not driving back for like a $7 refund or whatever the fuck it would have been.
Yeah.
So like I was just calling and I was trying to have them like put it on my credit card, like just refund that, and they just kept like hanging up on me. And like at a certain point I just took the L and I just didn't go there for 3 months. Like that's how I get back at shit like that, is just like I don't patronize your establishment anymore. Like, I'm not gonna scream. The kid at the gas station who sold me premium and cost me $50 to fill up a fucking $30 to fill Corolla.
Yeah.
And like he was like, oh, I thought you said premium. And like,
no,
I didn't yell at him. I still tipped him the $2 I give every fucking gas attendant. And like, I just won't go there anymore. Like, you know, it's just, that's it. Like, I don't need to. Maybe he had, say, the blackened crab cake aside, had he had a poor meal, he didn't think it was up to his standards, I'm not calling and asking for a refund. Like
for the entire meal too. Like which like
even if all the food wasn't great, it's just like we're just not going to order there ever again.
Yeah,
that's it.
Fine.
That's the end of it. Like you know what I mean? Like that's crazy to go back and like scream at a teenager.
You did make me think about this.
Scream at the chef and be like, "You're not a real chef." Like
no, he did. He did
that's
in my face.
fucking
like,
mentally insane. And you're just like, dude, I work in a shore shack. Like not to like take away from Oceanside, but
it's supposed to be like a fucking family friendly, like you know,
local eatery.
Yeah,
not
like
the fucking a Michelin star. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
I'm not disparaging them at all. It's just like,
I am. I work there, and I'm absolutely disparaging my place of work. I'll read you some of the fucking reviews too, like because they keep review bombing us. Because it's like it's people that are like way too entitled and like I don't fucking know.
They didn't have any gluten-free options.
So like here's one. This is our fish taco. Ordered takeout, fish tacos and ahi tuna. The fish tacos are a disgrace. I don't know who made this and thought it was okay to serve this. Would give negative stars. It's fried tilapia. I don't know what you're expecting. It's like you cut tilapia into strips and deep fry it, and like it's not like we're a Mexican restaurant where it's like we have other taco options. It's like this is just like a fish taco.
That does look like dog shit though.
That's what tilapia looks like though.
It just looks like the portion of meat isn't enough. That would be my only gripe. It looks perfectly edible otherwise.
It's like and on top of that, the chili lime sour cream that they got
that
was
an
on the
entree
side.
or is that like a
No, that's the app version. Well, this was a couple of years ago, so that was the app. But yeah,
that's perfectly fine for an app.
They messed their own order up. They got all the stuff on the side. And we're like,
oh, so that's probably banging with all of it in there.
Yeah, exactly.
That looks like a fucking.
It looks
McChicken.
like a wet fart. Yeah, that's like is exactly. It looks like a fucking snack wrap somebody like fucking opened up. Like, and I'm like, well, I don't have the ability to reply to this and say, well, maybe if you ordered off the menu like that we have set up, it would be different. All right, so. Here's another one. David S. 5 years ago. I have been using Yelp for years and never posted a food review. This restaurant calls for my first review. I normally speak up at a restaurant or any place of business, but I was hungry and felt lucky to get a table and reservations at the beach on a Friday night with my girlfriend. Service wasn't too bad. We ordered a water and a Sprite with appetizers that didn't need silverware, but had to ask them for napkins after being served our main courses. This is an easy oversight for wait staff, but it is slightly annoying as we had to wait even after we asked for it. The food was 0 to 2 stars. The pricing, even for the shore, was high for the quality of food. We were given rolls and butter when we sat down at our table. The rolls were stale, which I've read a few times in the reviews. They're not stale. We keep them in a bread warmer, and they come out warm. We don't have the napkin though. Like, you know how like when you go to an Italian place, they warm your rolls and then wrap them up in a cloth napkin. We don't do that because we don't have cloth napkins. It's not like a white place where we have place settings that have cloth napkins, and we're not gonna wrap it up in like tinfoil or deli wrap or anything. It just looks ghetto.
Yeah.
The only time you get hot rolls is when you request them. So this guy requested a hot buttered roll. It was brought to his table, and he probably let it sit until his entrees got there. So it's not that they were cold or stale. It's just you let something that was hot and toasted get cold.
Yeah.
And like
Food
it
gets cold. Even coffee. You have about like if you have a coffee in a mug like this, it's gonna be hot for about 6 minutes. Like you
got like a 4 to 10 minute window to finish that thing before it like turns fucking
which
sour.
I don't mind it cold, but I'm just saying like food gets cold so quickly.
Yeah.
Like it happens all the time where we'll make dinner and then something happens with the kids and like we're changing someone and we're doing something and then we sit down 10 minutes later and it's like I gotta chuck my plate in the microwave for 30 seconds.
Same.
Like I don't want cold food. Like I know the microwave makes the quality less, but it's like I'd rather it be warm and like the chicken not as good than like you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Meat in the microwave's touch and go.
I was like telling Jay that I would rather get a chicken cheesesteak from Giuseppe's and have to throw it in the microwave for 15 seconds when I get home than get one from Pino's because of how
100%.
much better it is.
100%.
And it's like even with the microwave aspect of it, it still is.
Pizza stuff I love.
Yeah.
Like if you get a pie from around here, then I used to be like ghetto and microwave it because I was lazy. But if you throw that bitch in the oven for a few minutes,
right,
oh
dude,
my
yeah,
God,
it's game changer.
Game changer. It's like the same pizza.
Yeah,
it's literally you're having fresh pizza again.
Yeah, it's great. And then if you got like toppings that are kind of soggy too, the pro tip is like you pick your pepperoni or your peppers or whatever off, keep them to the side, and then when you got like the last like minute or two you're keeping in there, then you throw those back in there and like hit it with like a little Parmesan cheese, and it all like it doesn't melt, but it doesn't congeal, and it's like the pizza's crispy, but the toppings seem fresher. I don't know. It always does it for me. All right, Caesar salad, $10.95 for a salad portion, which we home make our Caesar dressing. It's like not an unreasonable, like it's a big portion too. It's an oval plate about yay big with like stacked.
This is the Shore.
Yes.
Avalon. That is a little high, but like,
yeah.
Why are you vacationing in Avalon? It's like one of the richest towns.
Yeah, it's like not like we're selling it for a markup or anything. It's like that's what it costs. Like our bottom line is 33% above what at cost is. That's the way that everything is. So room temperature salad with limp and browning lettuce, stale croutons, what tasted like bottled dressing. Fuck you, we make that shit in-house every fucking day. Would have paid $5 full price if fresh. Crab nachos, $17.95 for a portion for two. This was the best dish we ordered, given a 2-star rating. Lump crab meat should be lumped, not shredded in my opinion. Lump crab meat is shredded. He's thinking of colossal meat. Lump crab meat comes fucking shredded, and it's also $35 fucking a can. So you get like a quarter of a can on top. That's like $10 worth of crab meat right there. I'm sorry that you disagree with that, but then with all the other accoutrement, cheese, pico de gallo, which is also handmade, fucking jalapenos, and like the
$17.95 for a big plate of nachos is like
that's reasonable,
especially in a beach town. Like
it's the most reasonable item we have on the menu.
Yeah, I would order. Like I'm drifting towards that myself.
And he said would have paid $10 full price for lump crab meat. And it served at least warm. Like fuck you. What do you think lump crab
would have paid $10? It's like, well, I'm not necessarily wanting $10 seafood. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like go to Atlantic City if you want that. Crab fingers, $12.99 for 8 small to large pieces of crab. They're crab fingers. What do you think that they are? Like just like a crab finger is the smallest part of the crab that they can fucking cook. It's like you're not eating them like raw, but you're having them cooked the minimal, and they're presented in a way where it's like they're supposed to be like you pick one up, you nibble a little bit of meat, and that's it. And that's all it is. It's like you're more eating these. It's like
this is more of an issue of this person not knowing what they're even supposed to be getting, and they're probably broke, and they're like, I spent this much money and I don't feel like I got my money's worth.
Clam strip platter, $14.95 for lightly fried clam strips, fries, and a coleslaw. The strips are all breading and no clam, and heavily fried. That's just what clam strips are. It's like I don't know how to express this, but clam strips, no matter how you get them, are just going to be mostly breading. It's kind of like chicken nuggets.
Clam meat?
Yeah, like you ever like bite into a McDonald's chicken nugget and be like, why is there so little, meat in this? And it's like, oh yeah, because it's filler and it's not real chicken. It's just this like paste that they pump full of chemicals to make it taste kind of like meaty and chickeny, but it's mostly breading.
Yeah.
And you pay $10.95 for fucking 20 of those things. So it's like, it's not much different than that. But yeah, Shit like that. Here's
If
one.
you go on Yelp and like take the time to like do this, like Uncle Joe used to berate Lee on the church back in the day because
Yeah.
Lee was an avid Yelper and would like. I'm sure there's tons of restaurants in LA. So like when Lee would go to pick a new spot, he would look on Yelp, and Joey was like, "What are you doing to yourself, Lee? Like you believe these fucking Mama Lukes?"
This place, 1 star, is like Chuck E. Cheese with shrimp. Absurd, I know, but the place was full of screaming and food throwing toddlers. We also have Kids Eat Free Night. They probably came on Kids Eat Free Night, as
Yeah.
this was 6 years ago.
That's funny.
We waited while chewing on stale rolls 40 minutes for our food, and we completely underwhelmed when it arrived. For $26, I expect more than 10 tiny scallops and shrimp. Both of those are premium seafood items that are fresh. You know, like I don't know
Yeah.
how to expect, but I expect more than 10 tiny scallops and shrimp. Even the side of veggies was miniature. To add insult to injury, they overcharge us for one of my kids' meals. Kids eat free, so charging you for a kid's meal by accident. But yeah, these are like the caliber of people that we deal with on a daily basis. So when you say, I would never think that like someone would overreact and yell, or like, not that you never thought, I personally wouldn't either. I'm just saying, these are fucking insane people. And they think that because they're in a rich town that they need to be like treated like, you know, royalty. And like, we're like, no, we're just not. We are, when you want to come
if
slum
this
it.
place was $100 a plate, if this was like a like these people would have viable complaints, but it's just like, not that your joint isn't like fancy, but like it'd be like us going to Lavari's and being like, these chicken wings aren't good. Like it's just like, yeah.
I had better chicken wings at a chicken. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
just
you're at Lavari's, dude. Like, what are you expecting? Like, there's just we have no expectations of people to come in and just be like, you know, reasonable. So like off the rip, most of the time we're expecting people to be like this. So we try and make our stuff as straightforward as possible. Like we can't call anything too crazy because it's like we had to change the name of our shrimp scampi because too many people didn't know how to. I told you they got hung up on the word scampi, and we're
They
like,
didn't want to order it because they didn't want to
well,
say it.
well, they would order it and then get confused with what a shrimp. They didn't read past the word shrimp because they didn't know how to pronounce the word scampi, and would just be like, "What this?" And it's like, "Yeah, that's shrimp scampi." They're like, "Yeah, but why is it all colorful? I was expecting like shrimp and red sauce." It's like, did you even read the fucking?
It was an Italian name.
Yeah,
I thought
like,
it was going to be Italian.
Exactly. And like that is more like that happens so much more often than you could even fucking imagine. And I'm like, yeah, I you can't fight them. You can't do anything, but you just got to kind of sit back and like exist in this fucking delusion of their fucking expectations.
Most people you deal with, everything runs fine. It's just that like 10% of retards that just fucking gums up the works. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, and like you said, it's not cost effective, but the most reasonable solution in the moment is just to give them their money back
And just get 'em out the door.
See ya. Like, have a good
Please
one.
don't
Thank
come
you.
back. Yeah.
Yeah. Or even if just like, thank you. Have a nice night. Like,
Yep.
we're sorry about that. Like, just kill them with like that's all you can do in a customer based industry. But it is for sure frustrating.
I've had one thing, I think, that I've ever sent back, and it was also Dino's Diner. I sent back the booger on the plate, but
And
there's
what
one-
did they say? They were like, nah, that ain't a booger.
No, they apologized like crazy. They were like because it was clearly a
Jorge
booger.
always picks his nose.
It
We
was
always see
clearly
him.
it was clearly a booger. Like somebody probably sneezed at like somewhere nowhere near that guy, and it just fucking traveled. Like that was my guess. And like I was like, look, shit happens. I am sorry. I don't want another one. I'm gonna pay for my meal and like get out of here and tip still. Like was very nice about it. Paid for everything. But the one time I did send something back.
You still
was
paid
at-
for it.
I did. Yeah, they tried to give it to me for free, and I'm like, no. I'm not affecting your bottom line. Nobody got to eat that food, but it's still like out of your inventory. So I paid. It was like only like $10. Like I paid that. I tipped her $5. Like I'm like, no hard feelings. But the one time
That's
I did,
probably even more concerning for them than someone being like, "What the fuck?" Like, yeah, I want it for free. Like, they probably didn't even know how to handle that. They're like, Wait, what?
I told them I was a cook.
That's
I'm
like the equivalent of like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, pretty much. And it's like they
when
knew.
someone fucks up and you still tip them well, they're just like, I
Damn.
did that at Vita Bella. Like, I rarely ordered delivery, and it was an instance where it was like, I forget if it was the kid or what, but like, I worked late. Like, let's just order delivery. We can all, like, we could spend that extra hour together or whatever. Like, it was just
Yeah.
like the two times a year we ordered
Twee
delivery.
25.
Yeah. And the other time we ordered delivery was from the same place. And like, Tina's friend worked there. Like, they deliver. It's Vita Bella's. They're in Seaville. Like,
Yeah.
they deliver to Tuckahoe. Like, we're literally 4 miles away or something. And the kid was like, "Nah, we don't deliver there." and like I was like, what? And she just ordered it for pickup. So then I was super pissed because I didn't feel like going back out. I had already driven 200 miles that day or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
but like, what am I gonna do? Like, I went there and like picked it up, and I still tipped the kid the $5 or the $10 or whatever. And he was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I talked to my boss. Like, we do deliver there. Like, Tina talked to her friend, or friend called the boss. This kid got chewed out, and like,
Yeah.
I was just like, I tipped him after that. Like, I was like, don't worry about it, man. Like, shit
not your
happens.
fault.
Like, it's
Like,
no
yeah.
big deal. Like, he was probably like 17 or 18, and he looked legit like mortified. And I was like, dude, shake it off. No big deal. Like,
I had to.
appreciate you. I'll get you guys for delivery on the next one. Like,
I this is unrelated to like tipping or like anything like that, but I did have to yell at like we have so many teenagers now that work for us. There, it's like
at least they're working.
yeah, that's just it. It's like I respect them. I give them the utmost respect because they could just be fucking hanging out at their parents' house all summer, going to the beach, doing whatever. But they're actually like taking the time to learn a skill.
And working sucks when you're that
And
age
it
because all
does.
your buddies are just going to the water park and
Yup.
fucking off, and you're like,
And you're
I'm
like-
gonna go wash dishes at
Yeah.
Spatafor is right now.
It's and you know it does blow, but these kids are like they're having fun with each other, they're enjoying their time together, and I'm happy that we can facilitate that and teach them a skill in the meantime. But yeah, like there's too many teenagers in the kitchen at one given time.
Oh, they're in the
usually-
kitchen, too.
Well, yeah, like so our expos are all under the age of 18, and
Damn.
we have a kid that wants to learn. He's 15. He wants to learn how to do the steamer, and then we have another kid who's 19.
Anyone
who's
I
doing-
knew working in restaurants
Yeah.
at that age was always busboys,
Yeah.
servers,
Well, we
front
have
of house.
we have
like,
we have like kid busboys and
I
dishwasher
think Trout
too.
was cooking when we were like 15. He's the only one I knew. He was
Yeah.
like, "Damn, dude, he's fucking moving up in the world."
Yeah, I was like
he was like cooking at Buck Tavern.
I was deep frying at McGowan's when I was 16.
No shit.
They had to put a milk crate in front of it because it was too short to see over it, which was funny. And it was like definitely an OSHA
That was
violation.
like a esteemed position at that age, though.
Yeah, man, it was fucking cool, and I got
Yeah.
to take care of it. I got to learn a lot about the fryer. But anyway, yeah, there's too many teenagers that are like in the kitchen at one time, and like the thing is, we have a kid who's kind of meek. And if you like, he's 18, 19, I forget which, but if you ask him a question and you're real direct about it, he'll be like, "Hey, Vinny, how long on the clams?" And he usually has a tendency to go, I don't know. So like there's this one time where I knew he had an item in the steamer and I knew it was like almost ready to come out. I just wanted to gauge like when I should drop my shit. So I'm like, hey, Vinny, where's that thing, you know, like in the steamer that you have cooking for me? And Vinny doesn't even answer. He just looks at me like, huh? And the three kids on the other side, there's two boys and a girl, all answer me in unison, all with different answers, like with just babbling like fucking Lady Di and her fucking friend and fucking Stalker Patty. Like it's just that fucking level of like they're just saying nothing. Skibbity Riz toilet, Ohio, and then like one of them's
I don't understand
one of
the new
them's
vernacular
one
at
of them's
all.
trying to fucking answer my question, but they're
It's
giving
not
me the
very
wrong
Sigma of you,
yeah,
Joe.
it's fucking go back to Ohio, you toilet. Like, yeah,
What?
It's brain rot. Like, I have fucking no
Absolute brain
Yeah,
rot.
well,
I
that's,
don't
that's
go
what it's
on
called.
TikTok
Yeah,
at all.
that's what it's called. Is like brain rot. But yeah, like two of them are spouting brain rot. One's trying to answer my question but incorrectly, and then the kid that I asked the question to is just quiet. And I'm like, okay, everybody, shut up. And like, you answer the question. You three separate. Leave me alone.
You got
And,
no
like,
Riz, Joe.
Yeah, they do.
This
They
is
all.
very Riz of you.
Just see LeBron James, huh? Dude, let me-
Fucking hate him. I feel like such an old man now. Like when I see these young kids are fucking weird. Like they make like creepy like sexual references.
Yes.
And they're like 9. Like I was at the playground with Vincent 2 days ago, and these two boys are like running around climbing super dangerously on this jungle gym. Like they're climbing on top of the tunnels like 15 feet in the air. My inner parent is like, Jesus Christ, like you're gonna fucking kill yourself. But then they keep doing the, oh yeah, and the one kid's like, I'm about to nut, and I'm like sitting there and I'm
Jesus
like, I'm like-
Christ.
he's like, this shit's goated, yo. Like I'm like, what the fuck, dude? And they're so young, and I'm like,
They
they,
have no-
keep doing the, oh yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I didn't say anything, but in my head, I'm like, shut the fuck up.
There's
God.
like one that works with me.
I
She's
mean, I
like,
guess you were
she's
creepy when we were young, though. You were sticking your dick in a shark and like,
I'm not in front of people, not at the
No, yeah.
playground. Like,
No,
yeah, that's
definitely
a good.
not.
Actually, I should have done that at the playground. What am I,
I think
talking about?
the creepiest shit we did when we were that age was the penis game.
penis,
Penis,
penis.
penis. Do it right now. Penis.
Guyat mewing Anita Max win. Skibidi Rizzler grittying in Ohio with Mr. B Sigma. I show speed. Guyat mewing Anita Max win.
I don't get it. I don't get it
It
at
made
all.
my face hurt, dude.
Face
I'm
hurts
way
'cause
too
it's-
high for that.
Face hurts. It's killing me. It's just a
Oh,
fat guy
fuck,
too. It's
dude.
like, did you see
That
it?
made my face hurt.
Skibidi Rizzler grittying in Ohio with Mr. B Sigma. I show speed. Guyat
even worse.
mewing. Anita Max win.
Man, like,
Can you
That
pass
gives
the
him
official
brain
brain rot
rot.
test? If you get 5 out of 5, you need to touch some grass.
I took my headphones out.
Question
I
1,
can't
who rizzed up baby Gronk?
even my legs tingle, dude. That brought my diabetes out.
who rizzed up
The
baby
answer was
Gronk?
Livy Dunn. Question 2, what's known as the worst state in America?
Everybody knows Ohio.
That one was Ohio. Question 3, what was
do
the
it.
name of the most
This-
viral party on the internet this...
This shit right here is how my mom felt when I would put on Family Guy, and she would be like,
Yeah.
"This is the stupidest fucking show I've ever seen."
That's how my dad feels when I put on Eric Andre. I guess this is just Eric
Yeah.
Andre for the next generation.
Yeah.
Bird up. That's what we should do. Whenever they start fucking spouting off with that shit, I'm just gonna start hitting them with bird up.
Do the Harlem Shake.
Fucking, let me in! Splat on my back. I'm a fucking rascal. Tickle my tummy.
nightmare.
Cured her retardation.
That's the best part of that.
Hit the applause.
Oh my god, dude. I
don't
don't
like
like brain rot.
I don't like the way that you're treating my sauce.
Get
Well,
off
some
my
people,
lawn.
some people are going to eat their sauce with their penis. No, they're
With
not.
their balls. They're
They're
gonna
not.
dunk their balls in your sauce. You know what? They're not gonna do that.
Stop handing me ice. Just keep-
That show gives me brain rot too.
yeah, that show is brain
I
rot.
used to
like,
smoke or take dabs with Trout, and we would watch that, like, just chilling in like his fucking rental house. It was just me and him, and like sometimes Aaron. We would literally, he didn't have a torch. Like he would heat up the nail with like this weird like camping stove thing. Like it would just glow
Yeah.
orange, and he would leave the nail on it. It was a real crack rock fucking
yeah.
get up, and we would take fucking globs and watch that, and my face after like 10 minutes would like hurt from like grinning, and like it feels like the skydiving version of comedy. Like it's
Yeah.
just like overwhelming. Like it's just like
Intense.
yeah, it's especially when you're smoking pot. Like it's overstimulating. Like it's just like haymaker
Yeah.
of just chaos of just you can't even like wrap your head around it. Like
I'm trying to think of like something comparable because
It
like
steamrolls,
Yeah,
man.
it's absolutely because like Adult Swim's got a lot of stuff like that. People used to
Robot
like
Chicken.
Yeah, people used to say like Aqua Teen Hunger Force was like that for me, and I always thought Aqua Teen Hunger Force was a little lower key and like not as like relentless, but like yeah,
I didn't
Robot-
love it. I didn't love that show. I kind of just thought it was weird, but I
It is
still
pretty.
watched
It's
it.
it's very funny to me, but it is very weird. It's like just it's deliberately off-putting. It's like
Yeah.
it's like animated in a way that's supposed to make you uncomfortable, but like also it does have its charming moments. But no, you're right. Robot Chicken is like that, where it's just like 3 seconds of like I don't know, RoboCop getting a blowjob in a glory hole from a fire
Someone gets
hydrant.
their head sawed off or something.
Yeah, and like it's just fucking stop motion animation, so it's extra fucking weird. I
It
like
would always come on after Family Guy, and it would just like I was like 10, and I would watch it, and I would just,
It's
it was so
alive.
off-putting. Like,
Yeah.
But as I got older, the more I appreciated it.
There's like the one joke from that where they do an entire episode that's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and they have the kid that looks kind of like Mort Goldstein from whatchamacallit from Family Guy, but like the one kid on Robot Chicken look just
Does
like
the
a
same
dorky
voice.
yeah, it's like a dorky fucking Jewish looking kid. But they do The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and that kid is the kid that goes through the wardrobe, and he finds the White Witch like in the beginning of this book, and like the kid's like, I'm from Earth, like I'm blah blah blah, and she's like, well, welcome to Narnia, you're my esteemed guest. Here, try some Turkish delights. And the kid goes, yay, I'm gonna get laid, and she's like, Turkish delights are candies. He's like, yay, candy.
I've seen that.
It's so fucking good.
I want to. I gotta start wrapping up soon.
Yeah.
I gotta get lunch. But
Any,
I want to shout out our plug and do a call in for Ocean View Sushi.
Hi, I'll take your order, please.
That's this lady. She's the best.
Hello?
Hi, how you doing? Can I place an order for takeout, please?
Sure, that.
Can I get one sweet potato roll,
Uh-huh.
one spicy tuna roll,
Uh-huh.
one Philadelphia roll,
Uh-huh.
one American Dream,
Uh-huh.
one Cape May roll,
American Dream, 1K May. Okay.
one kamikaze roll,
Uh-huh.
and then can I just get one thing of eel sauce? 2 Diet Cokes.
2 Diet Coke. Okay. How many chopsticks for you?
No chopsticks.
No chopstick, use your finger?
Yeah, finger or fork, but usually finger. I'm not good with
Okay.
chopsticks.
Any
Just 2, and then 1 eel sauce.
Got it.
Thank you.
So give me 25 minutes, all right?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, welcome. Bye.
Bye bye. Shout out to Ocean View Sushi.
Wait,
They're-
shout out to who? Shout out to who?
Ocean View Sushi.
Who?
I would never give them a bad luck review.
No, they
They're always
rule.
top notch. They're the go-to sushi spot in the area. Some people like Tokyo Mandarin, but fuck you, Tokyo Mandarin's gay. They're a chain. Ocean View Sushi is independently owned and operated. They rule.
You got 5 minutes for a J segment, real quick?
Yeah, no, I got time. They said 25 minutes, so. And then I'm like, can I fit this in my book bag, or am I gonna have to get my car? It's always the fun. Or sometimes I ride home while holding the bag.
Holding your bag.
Makes starts and stops a little interesting, but once you get rolling.
You should probably eat sushi out of it while you're.
I was
That's so fucking
vaping coming
wild.
down Route 55 the other day because I
Hey, how you doing?
was hanging out in the right lane doing like 60.
We're on the
guys on?
yes, we're on the podcast.
You're live.
You're live, Jay. How you doing?
Oh, and if I get in a crash, I might be dead. So that's cool.
One can only hope.
Hey,
Oh, hey, oh, gabagool.
Gotta have the car crash sound effect.
Jake just placed his order to Ocean View Sushi, and the whole time I was playing him the gong sound effect through the fucking headphones.
I was giggling throughout the entire order.
Oh, like that's nice that you giggle at your daughter. Anyway, so how's the Blacktooth podcast going? What are we talking about today?
Your comedy career. What's going on with you?
A lot. Yeah, I'm everywhere. Tomorrow
Yeah.
night,
Mr. Worldwide.
yeah, and then Friday I'm at the Church of Satire in Hanover, Pennsylvania. My first time there. Guys, Joey's never heard of him. He doesn't think guys anybody. But, yeah, King House.
Is this how you do all your phoners? It sounds
You're
like
going through a tunnel right
yeah,
now?
what are you doing?
I'm in the car.
Can you put the window up?
Nah, I think it's just bad cell service.
No.
Yeah, the windows are up.
Oh, okay.
It's
well,
just bad reception.
yeah, you're going in and out a little bit, but okay. Church of well, you're doing Anglesey Pub tomorrow. Church of Satire in Hanover, Pennsylvania on Saturday. Friday, right?
Didn't you have one kind of far away? I saw you were going to like Nevada or Ohio or.
Skibbity Riz.
Leesburg, Virginia.
Yes. I knew it was like a good ride. That'll be cool.
Now.
No, it's not. No, it's not that kind of Virginia. Like DC, Virginia.
Ah,
That's still
sorry,
cool.
Yeah, even though I won't see any mongoloid mutants, but yeah,
you might.
Jesus Christ.
well, you played the Deliverance banjo song. How do you play that?
I'm just a fan of Burt Reynolds, as my mustache indicates.
But anyhow, but then yeah, next Friday, the 28th, I'm back up in Meadowlands for the New Jersey comedy competition, and obviously, if I don't have anybody to crowd, I'm not going to win. But if you get out there and shoot me on, I will be the funny. That I can get. I don't. Other people.
Is he hitting buttons now too? What are you doing, dude?
I think it's just
What?
a case of the poor. What do you guys got, Verizon? Or
Yeah.
they're usually the best. But
Yeah.
I got T-Mobile, and it's like 25% of the time, someone's just like, "You in a fucking tunnel right now?"
Yeah,
Like, it's just
exactly.
like, nah, I just live in the woods, and my fucking cell phone sucks.
Yeah.
That's how I talk.
You're just lagging. Did you smoke pot again, Jay? You're fucking lagging
Jay's
right now.
smoking K2.
You're very skibbity right now.
You know, my new girlfriend smokes.
Damn, Jay's got
Yeah,
riz.
Jay's got fucking. He's all sorts of John Cena. We're learning lingo for young kids now. The brain rot generation. There's like these kids that say things like skibbity and Ohio and toilet and Riz and stuff like
John
that.
Cena, I didn't know was one of them.
It was one I heard in passing the other day. I don't know.
They just blurt random phrases, and that's apparently supposed to be funny.
Yes.
Well, anyway,
Riz means that you're good with the ladies, so
Yeah, you
we'd
got
say
riz.
you have some riz.
You got Riz.
You're pretty rizzed up.
You're pretty risen.
Yeah, we can't. We got on. Listen, we can't let this. Now we can't talk about this too much.
That's a good bit for you, Jay. You'd be like, I got Riz.
I got Riz. I don't know what Riz is. I got Riz's Pizzas.
I like sweets.
I like tasty treats. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You guys have spent way too much time alone together smoking pot doing this podcast.
The size of
You need
these
to go
blunts
out.
I rolled today, Jay, they are fucking gorilla fingers.
Yeah,
They would. You would die.
Yeah.
You'd be the first marijuana overdose if you partook.
Absolutely.
I outdid myself today, Jay.
Well, congratulations. That's your achievement.
I'm rizzed up today, baby.
All right. I guess that's not with Joey, I hope.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and
Joe
Jay-
are really rizzing each other out.
We're over here. This is episode 99, but we thought as a nice treat we would turn it into episode 69.
69.
Yep. You know,
Oh, God. You're Bill and Ted.
Bill and
Poppers
Ted.
weird sex.
Yeah, he's trying to make a reference to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, where what's his name, Carlin comes out of the phone booth time machine and goes, "What?" He brings them from the future thems back, and they're like, "If you really us, then what's our favorite number?" And they go, 69, dude.
Movie's classic.
Yeah.
Boy,
Well-
he took. It was a long trip to get there.
That's okay. That's what podcasting
This
is,
is
Jay.
called content, Jay.
Yeah, we're not just big old comedians.
we
wham
don't-
bam, thank you, man.
Yeah,
we're
we don't
long
have
form content.
We don't have 2-hour blocks.
We're artists.
at the Tennessee Avenue Beer Hall for us to do 15 minutes.
We're storytellers, Jay.
Yeah, this is an art form.
This is improv.
Yeah,
Usually we're good for the first hour, and then we smoke way too much pot, and then we run out of steam. And
that's where we're at right
yeah,
now.
I'm so hungry right now that
I ate a sandwich.
I called in a sushi order live on a podcast. That's where we're at right now. Joe ate a sandwich for
Yeah.
for about 30 minutes. It was a very good looking sandwich.
It was tasty.
He was a polite boy. He offered me one, but I declined.
Well, I won't podcast eating it.
Yeah, he started out the podcast eating chips and a fucking gabagool sandwich.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's like that one episode of Sunny where Danny DeVito's being interviewed on the news about a cheesesteak.
Yeah, he starts. Well,
Pot or two.
I started blasting. You started blasting? Well, yeah. See, I couldn't chase him because I don't run too good. But then I started shooting him. But you see, I didn't hit him because I don't aim too good either. And then he just starts eating a cheesesteak in the middle of the interview.
That's basically what this episode's been. But
Yes.
But anyway, so anyway, so another thing is it's important to stay outside. You guys are you guys at least doing this outside?
Absolutely. Where do you think podcasting should occur?
Podcasting.
Yes.
Podcasting should occur outside. I think.
Yeah. We're enjoying ourselves. Where are you heading to? You going up to see your lady? Lady.
I gotta go. I gotta go walk Dee Dee first, and then I'm gonna go.
And his name is John Cena.
His name is John Cena. Now, Jay, what do you think of John Cena?
And his name is John Cena. And his name is John Cena. Cena. John Cena. Name is John Cena. His name is John Cena.
Okay, Jay. Stop.
That was John Cena.
Yeah, we're all right. Well, you got
Turn my
anything?
mic back on.
You got anything else to plug?
No, just the leak in the toilet.
All right, you be safe. I'll call you a little bit later. All right.
Love you, Jay.
Jay Skrock, I love you.
Undo your stoning dick.
We are outro music
Alright.
this week.
Yeah, love you. That was Jay
Interesting.
Skrock. Yeah. All right. Canman 609-425-3143. All right, jskrock0@gmail.com. I'll come clean your trash cans, and the dog will come bark at you. HRS Design and Promotion.
Traction Motorsports, 11R. Tommy, tough week last week. Bounced back to a P10. Strong finish for the circumstances. Shout out to Tommy. Keep running strong.
Yeah,
Keep
man.
on giving her. Keep on digging, buddy.
Keep on
Brendan
digging.
Shepard Off-Road Racing. Give him a shout on Facebook. Tell him the Blacktooth Boys sent you. And I think he had a pretty strong week this week. P6, something like that. I don't
Nice.
remember. I saw it. I'm
We're excellent sponsors.
Nah,
we're
we're terrible.
phenomenal sponsors.
I
yeah.
see the posts. I see the both of them are pretty active on Facebook, so that's how I keep up to date. I mean, with anything in this world nowadays. But we get Stewart's Handyman Service 693389427. Ocean View Sushi. Play the sound. Fuck it.
Wait, no, you got their number?
Ocean View Sushi, 609-624-8886.
Oceanside Seafood, 25th and Dune in Avalon. If you want to come in and tell me that I don't know how to cook, 25th and Dune, oceansideseafoodavalon.com. And yeah.
Silver Dental Group, 856-854-4354. They're in Collingswood. It's a bit of a hike. It's about a 55-minute drive. I know. Everyone says, Jake, why do you drive this far to go to the dentist? Because it's the first dentist in my life that I actually like. He's a great fucking guy, Dr. Scott. He's the fucking man. You need anything fucking fixed on your teeth, scrub that fucking algae off once every 3, 4, 5, 6 months, whatever the fuck you want to do. Give him a shout. Tell him I sent you. Good prices. Even if you don't got dental insurance, they'll fucking fix you up. So shout out to Dr. Scott. I love that dude.
Marmora Hardware. Just kidding. I did bring it up though.
Marmora ShopRite. They have the best prices. They're better than Acme.
Gills Pills.
Dirt bikes.
Get Gill to the gills. All right. Thanks for listening. Go fuck yourselves.
Bye.